just a boy. Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am. But right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. song. When I was just a boy, Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am. But right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello guys, and welcome everyone to Robotic Maniac, as this game is going to be unbelievable. And welcome to Robotic Maniac. This is going to be amazing. Welcome, and it is at Old Trafford, Manchester United versus West Ham. Hello everyone, and welcome to live coverage today of the Premier League clash between Manchester United versus West Ham at Old Trafford. Reporting of this almost their defeat in 10 men against Everton, Manchester United have spent all this time trying to find their way at Selhurst Park, and they found themselves in a really good result, and they have done it all the way. But right now, this is the Manchester United's Manchester United's lineup. We have Zander Mendes, Dalot Dalat, Hayden's, Luke Shaw, Ahmad Diallo, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, Sanase Masador. Sorry, I can't say these names right. Brian Menu, and Joshua Sayaga. Sorry guys, I can't say the names right, but anyway. But I'm hoping you guys will like this stream. Please like and subscribe, and get ready for this awesome stream. Welcome to Robotic Maniac, live coverage of the Premier League and the EFL, right here live on Robotic Maniac. Welcome to Robotic Maniac. Manchester United versus West Ham.
plenty at stake for both sides. Let's hand you over to your commentary team. Leanne Sanderson is alongside your commentator, Joe Shannon.
Thank you, Natalie. Yes, they've emerged from the tunnel away to our left between the Stretford end, which is awash with banners and flags in support of Manchester United, and here in the Sir Bobby Charlton South Stand, named after the late Manchester United great. You never quite know what you're going to get with this Manchester United team. Even in Sundays when at Selhurst Park there was an all too familiar lack of quality in the first half, followed by a resurgence in the second. You can see flashes certainly of what Ruben Amorim is trying to implement, but it still feels like that you can't quite count on a United recovery just yet. West Ham are in a different predicament altogether, and although few are surprised that they have improved a little under Nuno, they still find themselves in the relegation zone. So a fascinating night lies ahead on Talk Sport. Laments is the Manchester United goalkeeper, Mazraoui, Heaven and Shaw the defenders, Ahmad, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro and Dalot in the middle, from Burmo and the returning Cunha in support of Xerxes up front. And for West Ham, Areola is the goalkeeper, Wan-Bissaka, Mavropanos, Todibo and Juve, Magassa, Soucek and Potts, Mateus Fernandes and Jared Bowen either side of Callum Wilson up front. It is a relatively chilly night, though not as cold as it often is at this time of the year in Manchester. Of course, the floodlights are on. We've had lots of heavy rain in build-up, and Manchester United in the familiar red shirts, white shorts and black socks, and West Ham in their change kit tonight of the off-white shirts, black shorts and those off-white beige socks. A big night for Manchester United and Ruben Amorim, and if they are to really underline their improvement so far this season, Leanne Sanderson, this is the kind of game, is it, that Manchester United need to win?
Yeah, definitely, and I do think Manchester United have turned the corner this year. As you mentioned, so a win tonight takes them up to 5th. But like I said, no Man United fans are really getting carried away. You made a really good point pre-game about, you know, the inconsistency of Manchester United. It'll be interesting to see Heaven in that back three tonight. You know, Lenny Orr will be disappointed to come out of the team, but he's still a young player. I think he's got a lot to offer. Cunha being back as well, I think is a massive plus. But these are the games like tonight. You know, Manchester United's record against West Ham, as we mentioned, Joe, doesn't bode well. So I think it depends on what West Ham side turn up as well. They've been quite underwhelming this season, as we've seen.
Well, we're very close to the West Ham fans. 3,000 or so to our right-hand side, making quite a noise in the build-up here. And I'm sure plenty of them were here on that famous day at the end of the 2006-2007 season when Carlos Tevez, who went on to become a star at Old Trafford, scored the winner here to keep West Ham safe from relegation. Quite the noise from the Manchester United fans too. This stadium is full to capacity tonight, 75,000 in the stands. This one of 60 games over the festive period for you. The build-up to Christmas and then the Christmas holidays. It has been an exceptional midweek of Premier League football, with all of the usual drama, incidents and of course plenty of goals. And perhaps here at Old Trafford we've saved the best until last. Live and exclusive on Talk Sport. West Ham get us underway from right to left in the first half towards the Stretford end, and Manchester United from left to right towards the east stand, the old scoreboard end. West Ham go long straight from kick-off. Nusayr Mazraoui will clear it away for Manchester United, and now Ahmad on the right corner of the penalty area. United in their familiar red, white and black, and West Ham, as I say, in this change kit, cream shirts and socks with dark blue shorts. And an early touch again for Mazraoui. Matthijs de Ligt is out injured tonight for Manchester United, but Ruben Amorim has said in the build-up that he will be back for the trip to Wolves on Monday night. Live and exclusive again on Talk Sport. Brian and Burmo with a weaving run down the near side, and now Ahmad as Manchester United go on the attack. Ahmad scampers into the penalty area. Good cross towards Xerxes at the near post, and I think that bounced off the shin of Xerxes, who scored that magnificent goal at Selhurst Park at the weekend, and is deflected out of play for an early West Ham throw. 0-0, and here's Leanne Sanderson.
Yeah, really good play for Manchester United. Mazraoui got it going to Burmo, and then Ahmad did really well. It looked like Xerxes was actually trying to back heel it behind his leg and just got caught in two minds. But fair play to him because he continued to chase it down, and it went out for a West Ham throw down on this near side.
The ball will be cleared upfield by Juve, high towards the halfway line. Casemiro there to win it back for Manchester United. Now Cunha, 10 yards from the edge of the penalty area. Knocks it out wide left to Diogo Dalot. His first time pullback is blocked by Wan-Bissaka against his old club tonight. And now Cunha back from injury, trying to dart infield from the left. The sprightly Cunha. Dalot tries a pullback again. And Wan-Bissaka, so good in one-on-one situations, as we know, was in the way. Helped out by Magassa, who carries the ball forward to the midway point of his own half and wins West Ham United a throw.
Yeah, good defending from West Ham down on that right-hand side. Magassa and Wan-Bissaka doubling up. And as you mentioned, Joe, we know how good Wan-Bissaka is 1v1. I do think there are still weak links in this Manchester United team. You look at Diogo Dalot, you know, Manchester United got Dorgu from Lecce. And I just think they're the types of players that it's almost like Manchester United go for players that nobody else are really in for. Gone are the days where Manchester United get a player like Berbatov that was tipped to go to City. So, you know, there's still a couple of positions. Mazraoui's back in the lineup tonight, so they're looking for him to have a decent game.
There's certainly a youthful look to the West Ham United bench. I'll give you that and the Manchester United substitutes in just a moment. And Burmo, midway inside opposition territory, nutmegs Magassa beautifully. It's an elegant start from Manchester United. And now Cunha 25 yards out. Bruno Fernandes with a little tap back towards Casemiro. It's cleared by Bowen, and a good turn by Callum Wilson away from Heaven on the halfway line. Dispossessed, wanted a foul, doesn't get it from the referee. And now Ahmad raiding down the near side, the right, taking on all comers, goes down inside the penalty area. That looked initially quite soft to me. Referee says that play should continue, and West Ham hoists the ball clear, high and over the halfway line. He was caught between Juve and Todibo. There was Ahmad, and the on-field referee, Andy Kitchen, in just his 5th Premier League game, said no penalty. 0-0 live on TalkSport.
It was all quite strange, really, because I actually thought it was a foul on Callum Wilson. He did really well on the halfway line, and that's something Manchester United need to look at, because they cannot believe in Heaven 1v1 as a last player, because if Callum Wilson goes in there, he brings him down, it's a red card, because he's in on goal. Now, on the other end, Ahmad goes in, it would have been a soft, and to be fair, he probably should have been booked for diving, because it was a minimal touch. If it's not a pen, then you have to book him for diving.
Certainly not the contact that Lenny Euro provided on Jean-Philippe Mateta in the penalty area at Selhurst at the weekend.
They didn't need VAR for that, Joe, did they?
They certainly did not. Mateus Fernandes with a dink over halfway, too long for Byrne, and all the way through to the grey-clad Manchester United goalkeeper Senna Lamens, who starts once again in the Premier League.
I'll tell you what, that's definitely an issue that I'm seeing only 4 minutes into this game. There's one ball. I spoke about West Ham being very direct under Nuno, don't really go through the midfield, but there's a couple of times where, you know, Callum Wilson's 1v1, Jared Bowen nearly went in there, and they've gone through Manchester United's midfield quite easily.
Xerxes for Manchester United has held it up well, knocks the ball out to the far side the left, and now in possession is Diogo Dalot with the lime green boots on. Manchester United from left to right in the first half. 0-0 here against West Ham United with 4.5 minutes gone. Ahmad in possession again, taking on Juve and whipping in a left-footed reverse cross. Header away by Mavropanos from inside the penalty area. So much live football this week on the TalkSport network. All 10 Premier League matches we've brought to you, and more live football at the weekend. The best way to be across it all as ever is to download our free app. West Ham counter with Bowen inside the centre circle. He's got Souček ahead of him. Very high defensive line from Manchester United in these early stages. West Ham eventually forced to go backwards. Freddie Potts midway inside his own half, nudges it back to Todibo. Socks rolled down his shins, and Todibo gets it back from his centre defensive colleague Mavropanos. But it feels like quite an open start to the game as Ahmad fouls Mateus Fernandes and West Ham get a free kick, Leanne. Yeah,
we know Manchester United under Ruben historically played a back three, but I think something that's concerning me right now is of how easy it is for West Ham. Jared Bowen's picking up the ball underneath, Heaven's being dragged out of position, and Callum Wilson's free quite often. So Mazraoui and Heaven and Luke Shaw haven't played in those positions.
And Wan-Bissaka is in behind down the right-hand side. Two in the middle, pull back towards Bowen. It'll run from its... and deflected over the top. Good block by Casemiro sliding in, but he was picking up the late run of Matheus Fernandes up to the edge of the penalty area, and West Ham get a corner, 0-0.
To be fair, it was the best slow motion block you've seen in a long time from Casemiro, because he goes to ground quite early. And I mentioned it, like, they're going through Manchester United. The back three of Man United are all over the place. Heaven's getting dragged out of position, as we saw there. You know, Wan-Bissaka does really well to pull it back. Fernandes, you know, he probably should do a little bit better there, but Casemiro goes to ground pretty early.
Well, Manchester United have been the Premier League's joint biggest threat from set plays so far this season, but now they have one to defend at the Stretford end. In by Bowen to the near post, header away by Xerxes, beat his own goalkeeper to it. Cunha plucks the ball out of the air delightfully, but can't find Mbeumo on the counter. It's Manchester United 0, West Ham United 0 on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. The rain has stopped and now it's clear in the skies at Old Trafford. We're sat very close to the dugouts, about 20-30 rows of seats from the edge of the pitch, and Nuno Espirito Santo is watching on with his arms folded as West Ham come forward again. Callum Wilson, who's in good form, with a high cross into the penalty area over the head of the diminutive Ahmad. It'll drop down to Diouf at the back post for West Ham, and probably one of their better performers so far this season, El Hadji Malik Diouf. And West Ham eventually go back to halfway and Mavropanos. West Ham starting the night 3 points from safety in the Premier League after Leeds beat Chelsea last night, and they've got a free kick midway inside the Manchester United half, and it's a very unsteady start to this game from Aidan Heaven, who is booked.
It's the three back, but it's the personnel of the three back. Heaven is getting dragged completely out of position a few times now. We're only 7 minutes into the game, he's already picked up a booking. I like Heaven, he's a top young player, but I think he needs someone in there to just say, positionally stay there. These three players in the back line, Luke Shaw, Mazraoui and Heaven, have not played together in that position. Ahmad's dropping in, Dallow's dropping in on the left-hand side as well, and they just look all over the place in the back line.
Well, a bright opening 8 minutes for West Ham United as Heaven is booked. A West Ham who have won 4 of the last 5 meetings with Manchester United in the Premier League. Free kick away on the far side of the field. It's going to be drifted in by Potts, high on the diagonal. Mavropanos at the back post with a looping header towards the 6-yard line. Bowen goes up, then Todibo hits it on the volley, and that was turned away. Well blocked, I think, by Heaven inside the penalty area. May well have been the touch of Casemiro. And Manchester United escape with Xerxes, the big tall front man, in possession, and he's knocked it wide left to Bruno Fernandes, who suddenly checks his run. Manchester United slow the game down. We saw a little too much of that at Crystal Palace in the first half, certainly. Xerxes rather meandering forward, back to Cunha, 25 yards out, left of centre. 0-0 as Manchester United seek the opening goal. Cunha with a looping cross, and Burma at the back post, hit it away, only as far as Ahmad. He lays it square. Bruno Fernandes well blocked by Souček. Souček got across to make a good challenge, then Matheus Fernandes is fouled. That'll be a free kick, but there's no doubt about it, though Bruno Fernandes appeals to the referee. Souček with a clean and fair block, Leanne Sanderson.
Yeah, I don't think that was a foul. It was a really good break from Manchester United. Ahmad was very unselfish. It looked like he was going to cut in on his left foot and hit it, plays it square to Bruno Fernandes. I thought Souček did a really good job, to be honest. I don't know why. As we know, Bruno will appeal for every single time, as we know he does, but I don't think there's nothing in that at all.
Souček, tall and a strident presence in midfield across Bruno Fernandes, and no question about it that the tackle was fair. I can't believe he's still appealing here, Bruno Fernandes. Maybe he's aware that it is a Premier League referee without a great deal of experience in Andrew Kitchen at this level, but he's refereed it well so far. Throw to West Ham, level with the edge of the 18-yard box, quite end-to-end in the first 10 minutes tonight on Talk Sport. And Wan-Bissaka will take the throw. Wan-Bissaka gets the return back from Bowen, can't smuggle it into his path. It will be swept away by Bruno Fernandes off Souček, and a goal kick to Manchester United. Is it really cold enough for gloves tonight, Leanne? Actually, I shouldn't have asked you because you're wearing gloves yourself.
For me it is. I never wore gloves. I never really liked them when I played. I'd start the game in gloves and then I'd throw them over to the sideline. But Bruno, just there, as he's gone over to the far side, he's asking the players, we need more. He's signaling with both his arms, his left arm and his right arm, because Manchester United right now look like they haven't even really come out of the changing room, Joe. It's been quite flat.
Shaw fizzes the high ball down the middle and it drifts over the head of Mbeumo and is gathered by Areola, all in light green, the West Ham goalkeeper. That rather sums it up so far, perhaps, for Manchester United. They have Altay on the bench, Martinez, Mount, Malacia, Dorgu, Yoro, Ugarte, Mainu, and youngster, very highly rated winger Shea Lacey. Poor clearance by Lamens, slices the ball out of play. That back pass was from a very nervy looking Aidan Heaven. And what's the referee stopping the game for here? He's going to come across to the near side of the field and have a quick word with somebody in a grey tracksuit. I think there might be a problem with his earpiece, and so Andy Kitchen is going to have to get that sorted out, and that's why there's a stoppage to the play. The West Ham bench: Hermanson, the goalkeeper, Walker-Peters, Kilman, Rodriguez, Irving, and youngsters Earthy, Marshall, Mohamedou Conte, and Ezra Myers. And he's still being refitted here with a replacement earpiece, or perhaps it's not where it should be, the referee. And so that's why the game has been stopped. Live on TalkSport with more Premier League football at the weekend. Aston Villa against Arsenal on Saturday. And the Monday night football next weekend is Wolves against Manchester United, and we'll be there at Molineux for full commentary. Well, we're about to get underway again, Leanne.
Yeah, no doubt. I think West Ham, in the transfer window in January, they have to strengthen, because there are, remember when West Ham went down before, the quality players that they had? I don't ever come from this place that a team's too good to go down. And you look at their squad, it isn't great, is it? Individually, they've got a lot of inexperienced players. They've got quality players. I like Souček, Callum Wilson, Paquetá's a quality player, Somerville, but I just don't think they're seeing the best of these players.
Well, they're a group that have been signed by plenty of different managers as well. Julian Lopetegui and Graham Potter, of course, among those. The ball is won back by Todibo on the halfway line, and the French defenders nudged it out of play. It'll be a throw to Manchester United, right in front of Ruben Amorim, who is always an engaging and energetic character to speak to. His team really showed both sides of themselves at the weekend in the victory at Crystal Palace. As we head towards the quarter of an hour mark, and it remains 0-0. The bearded Mbeumo has knocked it back towards Bruno Fernandes. Good interception by Potts in the middle of midfield for West Ham. Wilson has held it up and he hooks the ball down the middle. Reverse pass up the centre, but way overhit. Nobody in a cream shirt anywhere near it for West Ham, and it's all the way through to Lamens again, 0-0.
I actually thought that was a foul in Mbeumo. Juve went through the back of his calf. I think something about Manchester United this year, they've got quality, and in Mbeumo, Cunha, Bruno Fernandes in there as well. I think that triangle, those players can stay a little bit closer together, can really create something. I mean, Josh Zirkzee doesn't really threaten the back line enough for me, and let's be honest, he's only really starting in this game because there isn't anybody else, and that's no disrespect to him. Sesko's injured, hasn't been great since he came. Mason Mount will be probably his replacement in this game tonight, if he comes into the game. But other than that, you're playing with a player that scored one goal in a year, Joe. And that's Manchester United. The
only thing that you'd say is what a goal it was.
Unbelievable.
An impossible goal it felt like on Sunday.
And hopefully he can grow from that. There's been there was at times where it looked like Zirkzee was gone, and I didn't like it when some fans were booing him as well. That's not a real fan when you boo your own team. But I think Man United fans want him to succeed. They want him to do well, and they have got behind him, but he just needs to offer a little bit more for me.
Shaw clears the ball long for Manchester United up to halfway. The header by Mavropanos into the path of Casemiro. Manchester United with Mazraoui over halfway. Good ball up the inside right, and Mbeumo reaches it ahead of Todibo. And Burmo's drifted out to this near side, the wing position, plays the ball backwards. Potts is there, sliding in to intercept. He catches Bruno Fernandes, but no foul. He got to the ball. Bruno Fernandes has gone down and stayed down. That's a worry for Manchester United. Their captain going to ground. Not a head injury, so West Ham can play on. Bowen up the inside right on the far side of the field for them. Plays it back to Wan-Bissaka. Little 1-2 between him and Souček. Bruno Fernandes gingerly, slowly getting to his feet and limping forward. But there was blood and thunder in that challenge from young Freddie Potts, but he certainly got to the ball, Leon.
Yeah, that's exactly what West Ham need. They need a player like that that's going to get stuck in.
Wilson is onside, left corner of the penalty area beyond the tentative Heaven, and then the low cross is turned away by Mazraoui. Another corner for West Ham United, 15 gone, and it remains goalless on TalkSport at Old Trafford.
Lovely run from Callum Wilson, but again, it's far too easy for me that West Ham are getting in behind Manchester United. I know Bruno Fernandes was appealing for a foul. I don't think it was. I think it was an almost old school type of tackle. Freddie Potts had every right to go for the ball on the edge of the box.
Well, not a lot wrong with the West Ham displays so far when you look at it in the context of an away performance. Can they test Laments in the Manchester United goal for perhaps the first time tonight? Freddie Potts will take the corner into the near post. Poor delivery headed away by the first man, who ironically was Bruno Fernandes. Another crossfield ball by Wan-Bissaka, arcing through the air right to left. Potts has managed to control it ahead of Fernandes, and then a great cross into the penalty area by Diouf is only half away. It'll drop down to Todibo. Good play by the centre-half to pluck that out of the air, but he's dispossessed by Xerxes in a bit of a role reversal, and then a hopeless ball over halfway by Casemiro to give it straight back to West Ham.
It's good defending from Xerxes, but that's an example of, like, do you really want Josh Xerxes all the way back in that right back position, having to drop in? Because then they try to go forward and there's nobody in that front line. There's no one for them to run the channels, and I think that's a difference. West Ham right now, I think they're working the channels really well. I was quite critical of them before the game because a lot of the times it's a hit and hope ball. Tonight I'm seeing purposeful balls from West Ham.
It's a slow start from Manchester United, who are desperately disappointing here against Everton, of course. Wan-Bissaka raiding forward for West Ham against his old team. Away on the far side, the right, hugging the touchline under pressure from Dalot. Good ball infield to Bowen, who's not picked up. Right edge of the penalty area with a left-footed shot. That's where Bowen likes to receive it. And well blocked by Casemiro. And now Manchester United look to counter. The ball nudged high over the halfway line towards Brian Mbeumo, but he can't get to it. It was Bruno Fernandes with the outside of his foot. And out of play it goes for a West Ham throw right in front of the away technical area.
Yeah, you can see Bruno Fernandes telling Josh Xerxes that the set wasn't good enough. I don't think it was that. I just think it was poor execution from Bruno Fernandes. You can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to set Mbeumo off on his way down this right-hand side and catch them on the counter.
Well, West Ham certainly looking to threaten down that right-hand side in the first half, and that's where most of their attacking play has been concentrated up to this point. Diouf on the opposite side, near side the left, has won them another throw. Right to left West Ham towards the famous Stretford end. It's 0-0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Man United against West Ham live right now. Search Now Sports. Bruno Fernandes, the number 8 for Manchester United, has given it away. Bowen nudges it square into the path of Wan-Bissaka, who jinks beyond Dalot. Wan-Bissaka close to the corner of the penalty area. He feeds Souček. The tall, rangy Souček hangs up a high cross, and Laments has not been able to prevent the corner. Took a deflection off Luke Shaw. A corner to to West Ham United. It is flat at Old Trafford, and Manchester United look flat and a bit lifeless on the field at the moment.
It's a bit like it was at the weekends against Crystal Palace. This year, I think historically this season, Manchester United have started games well. Second half fell by the wayside. At the weekend, as we saw, Manchester United kicked into gear in the second half. I think Wan-Bissaka's having a really good game down that right-hand side. He's causing problems for Manchester United.
A third corner for West Ham in the 19th minute, and standing over it is Jared Bowen, left-footed and in-swinging, headed away only as far as Diouf, who slices it wide on his left foot, hands to his head. He knows that was a good opportunity, albeit not necessarily an easy strike at goal, on his favoured left side, and it sliced horribly wide in the end.
Yeah, big slice, but it wasn't an easy chance from Diouf. I think West Ham need to be better on their set pieces. We've seen a corner from the left-hand side. All three corners, I think, have been under-hit and quite poor, and I think they can really catch Manchester United off guard in that back line area. Why? You know, Ahmad is marking Mavropanos, I'll never know.
That is a mismatch. Long over the top by Shaw. Bruno Fernandes is onside, level with the edge of the penalty area, and now the flag does go up against Bruno Fernandes. Mavropanos was tracking him and had managed to hold him up. And belatedly West Ham get the free kick. Yes, Ahmad, the smallest player on the field, marking one of the tallest, the 6'4" Mavropanos.
It doesn't make any sense to me, and I think in modern day football, gone are the days. I don't like zonal marking anyway, because I think when they get a run on you, you know, they're always going to be first to the ball. But I do think gone are the days where you see players man marking on corners. You know, like if someone's good in the air, you think, oh, they're going to go up against them. That doesn't seem to happen. It's a complete mismatch, and we know this season how important set pieces can be. Just ask Arsenal.
Well, just ask Manchester United too, as Heaven manages to deflect the ball away from Bowen inside the penalty area, hooked over his shoulder by Ahmad, looping up high into the dark evening sky and away from danger. 0-0 the score. Wan-Bissaka for West Ham, away on the right-hand side. West Ham have been the better team, I think it's fair to say. They've looked the more likely, and they've had more territory in terms of attacking areas than Manchester United have.
And this is the inconsistency we were talking about pre-game, Joe, with regard to Manchester United. You know, you look at the game at the weekend against Crystal Palace, and I keep going back to that, but the quality was there in the second half. Manchester United have started this game similarly to how the Everton game went. Very flat. The back line look all over the place. The back three. You know, and like I said, I'm not critical of Ruben's tactics. I think personnel-wise, they look all over the place.
Leanne Sanderson, former England striker, is with us. One of the first things Leanne said to me when she came to the ground was, "Welcome back to the Theatre of Dreams." And I'm not quite the same level of intimidation at this place as used to be the case under Sir Alex Ferguson, but it is still a wonderful and historic place to watch football. Ahmad tried a dummy and Bruno Fernandes was on the same wavelength, but the ball trickles harmlessly out of play. You might have been able to hear the ironic cheers of the West Ham fans to our right.
You can see what they were trying to do, though. I spoke about the triangles of those types of players and Ahmad just getting a little bit closer to Bruno. He hasn't really... Man United haven't created anything in this opening 20 minutes at all. And you're right, Joe, West Ham have been the better side.
Yes, nearly midway through the first half. Magassa for West Ham, forward to Souček, ever industrious on halfway, but he's taken the ball out of play under the challenge of Luke Shaw, and it'll be a Manchester United throw. We will have the World Cup draw live for you tomorrow afternoon on Talk Sport from 4 o'clock on Drive. Adrian Barham, your host, Stuart Pearce, Alan Pardew, and the football expert Andy Brassel among the guests in the studio tomorrow. We'll have Charlie Mulgrew from a Scotland perspective as England and Scotland, as well as the rest of the world, find out their World Cup opponents. And then from 7 o'clock, Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent, live from the United States, bring you the World Cup draw after party with all of the best reaction and plenty more guests besides. It's a massive day in the build-up to the World Cup, and Talk Sport, as ever, as you'd expect, will have you covered. Crossfield ball by Magassa from the centre of the field to the right-hand side, floats over the head of Wan-Bissaka and out of play for a Manchester United throw. Not a game of great quality so far. After all of the goals in the week, Leanne,
I know.
it is 0-0.
We jinxed it. We're talking about Brighton and Villa.
High over the top, though, from Ahmad, up the inside right. Bruno Fernandes hooks it across first time, and touched behind by Todibo, nipping in front of his own goalkeeper there. The two West Ham United players, maybe there was a slight miscommunication. There must have been a shout from Areola, but Todibo felt that with Xerxes coming behind him, he had to nudge it away.
Yeah, I think it was the right decision from Todibo in that moment. It was a fantastic run from Bruno Fernandes. He's so good at those deep lying runs. It was a lovely purposeful ball from Ahmad, and now Man United have got a corner.
Manchester United fans near our commentary position get to their feet. They've scored the joint most set-piece goals in the Premier League this season, Manchester United. Short corner, then work back to Mboma with a goaler! Tipped over by Areola. He did very well there, the goalkeeper. Backpedaling, flung up a right arm, and with his fingertips was able to guide that looping effort from Mboma over the top of the bar.
What a lovely save from Areola. It was a fantastic strike. I'm not a big fan of short corners, but this was a lovely set piece from Bruno Fernandes and Mboma, and it looked like it was going over Areola's head. Lovely save.
The unpredictability of the Manchester United set-piece threat. It's another attacking dimension for them this season. 0-0 in by Bruno Fernandes, right-footed and in-swinging, punched away one-handed by Areola. Not a great deal of distance on it. It came back to Bruno Fernandes. Now Ahmad tries to deliver that, hit the back of his own man, Diogo Dalot. Didn't travel very far. Out on the right-hand side is Cunha, the number 10. Cunha with a low ball in, that's poor. Away by Mavropanos, comes back to Cunha, towards the edge of the D, has to slide in to keep possession, poke it away from Bowen. Delivered in high by Shaw. West Ham struggle to smuggle it away. In the end, Mavropanos will do just that. Finds Bowen, who goes down, draws the foul from Shaw. That was clumsy from Shaw, really, for a player of his experience to get drawn into that. And West Ham withhold the pressure, and suddenly they have a free kick. Yes, it's 10 set-piece goals in the Premier League for Manchester United this season already. In the whole of last season, they only scored 11 in the Premier League, so it's an area of big improvement for them.
Big improvements, but I think, you look at that situation there from Luke Shaw. He doesn't need to give away the foul. You've got 5 Man United players around Jared Bowen. It's just really stupid to make a free kick in that situation.
Well, the ball has bounced out to the right. Souček in possession for West Ham, and he gets the throw.
All these stats you're reading off, Joe, you're giving me hope, You're giving me hope.
Somebody's got to. Long throw into the penalty area by Wan-Bissaka, but he's going to have to take this one again in front of that enormous Sir Alex Ferguson stand. Sir Alex, 26 years, the impossible dream made possible, reads the banner between the two tiers. Wan-Bissaka throw up the right-hand touchline is headed away by Luke Shaw. Up goes Dallo with a free header, then Magassa, header of his own. It spins off the head of Ahmad, who was caught from behind, says the referee, by Jared Bowen, I think. Casemiro, who was caught, rather. And it's a free kick to Manchester United, midway inside their own half. We've had more than 26 minutes now. It's 0-0 and only one serious save made by the goalkeeper. Excellent save by Areola to deny Burma.
Yeah, I think West Ham have been the better side, to be honest. I think they've created a lot more. Manchester United haven't really created much, apart from down this right-hand side, and Wermo and Ahmad have done really well, but other than that, not really creating a lot. And Josh Zirkzee is just kind of sitting in front of the two centre-backs for West Ham, and it's happy days for them.
Bruno Fernandes, arms outstretched, looking for options as he drifts forward. Here is Ahmad on the near side, the right. Back to Mazraoui, number 3. Mazraoui cross-field, right to left, high through the air and nodded down by Cunha. Nudges it into the path of Shaw. Long way out here, Luke Shaw. Nudges it back out wide to Cunha again. Square pass infield to Diogo Dallo, about 10 yards from the edge of the penalty area. 0-0. Shaw again in an attacking position. Cunha gives it away. That was the pass of somebody who is a little bit rusty, perhaps, having just come back from injury. Casemiro evades Bowen, let it run across his body, plays it forward to Mbeumo. Mbeumo 10 yards from the edge of the box, wide to Ahmad, right corner of the penalty area, shuffling into the box, pulls it back, hits Zirkzee off the line, drops back down inside the penalty area. Cunha with the overhead kick, and then Bruno Fernandes with a thumping volley just wide. Manchester United go so close, 3 times in quick succession. Zirkzee off the line, Cunha overhead kick blocked, and then Bruno Fernandes with a scissor kick volley up into the air and wide of Areola's post. It's still 0-0.
This was unbelievable play for Manchester United. Ahmad does so well down this right-hand side. It's the first time he's really gone at Juve. Manchester United, I mean, if this goes in off Bruno Fernandes, it was an unbelievable scissor kick. And to be fair to Zirkzee, the ball hit him, but he kind of directed it on target, and I think you've got to give credit to Wan-Bissaka there for being on the line. But this strike from Bruno Fernandes reminds me of when Paolo Di Canio scored.
Oh, it's kissed the post on its way behind.
Remember the scissor that he scored for West Ham many years ago, but that was some strike from Bruno Fernandes.
Yes, that was Paolo Di Canio at the old Upton Park against Derby, I think it might have been, in the late 90s. And one of the most remarkable goals still in the history of the Premier League. It was not a dissimilar technique from Bruno Fernandes, and so close to giving Manchester United the lead. It did just kiss the outside edge of the post, as I say, before going behind. And credit to Wan-Bissaka in the build-up for getting in the right position to clear from Zirkzee, albeit it sort of just hit Zirkzee, didn't it? And drifted towards the corner.
I think Manchester United need to get Ahmad on the ball a lot more. I mean, he's on this right-hand side, he's got a lot of space, but just Manchester United just don't have the awareness to be able to ping. It's a big ask, you know, you're asking a 60, 70-yard ball to be pinged out wide, and that's a perfect example there when the ball needed to go from Casemiro, holds onto it, and it gets taken away.
Jared Bowen in the centre circle, plays it up to Wilson. Good first touch, trying to drink away from heaven. Right edge of the penalty area, and Wilson can't nudge it into the path of the on-rushing Souček. He wants handball. West Ham win it back high up the pitch through Magassa, but he's adjudged to have fouled his man. And that'll be a free kick to Manchester United. Incidentally, I mentioned that Paolo Di Canio goal that Leanne and I were talking about. It was against Wimbledon, not Derby County, for the record, against Wimbledon. Let me give you the latest odds from Ladbrokes. 0-0 the score. Manchester United to win 13-20. West Ham to win 4-1. The draw at 13-5. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18+. Gambleaware.org. Was that handball by Shaw?
Nah.
Sanderson?
Nah. We saw on the replay it just hit him in his kind of midriff. But I don't understand why they'd appeal for it. And obviously VAR will take a look. I think Callum Wilson's having a good game, making runs, holding the ball. There's a couple of times where he's got his arms all over Callum Wilson. I think the ref's letting a lot of things go.
3 goals in his last 3 in the Premier League. 0-0 with half an hour gone. Casemiro in the centre circle with an angled ball to Mazraoui just over halfway. Little 1-2 between him and Cunha, and now it's work wide to Brown and Burmo with a dart in field away from Mateus Fernandes, who slipped, pokes it through the legs, finds Cunha with a shot at the second attempt. It's blocked and still got it on the right hand angle of the area. Back to Ahmad to whip in a reverse ball, and it would have only needed a touch inside the 6-yard box. Too much on it perhaps though from Ahmad, and too much pace, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
I mean, fair play to West Ham. They're putting their bodies on the line. You can see what Ahmad was trying to do there, just bend with his left foot to the far post to Dalot. But Manchester United are picking up a little bit of pace. And something I noticed, Joe, about 10 minutes ago, Ruben Amorim actually sent Lenny Yora out to warm up on his own. So I don't know if someone's picked up a knock in the back line, or it's a matter of if Heaven doesn't come off at half-time, he could get sent off, because he's already on a yellow card after 7 minutes. And I like Heaven, like I said, but it's Callum Wilson's having a field day against him.
And the ball is nudged upfield by Mateus Fernandes. Bowen can't get it under control on the edge of the box, and the bright lime green flag goes up on the far side anyway. And it is a free kick to Manchester United. Whatever happens tonight, you can have your say on the sports bar from 10. Jamie O'Hara and Dean Saunders taking your calls. 03717 223344. And to speak to the guys is the number as ever. And from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, Alan Brazil and Ray Parlour bringing you all of the very latest on Talk Sport Breakfast as we build up to that World Cup draw from 4 o'clock tomorrow. Again, the World Cup draw live and in full with us. Luke Shaw, left edge of the centre circle, angled ball far side towards Dalot. Dalot waiting for the run of Xerxes, that underlapping run. Xerxes with the curly hair has held it up well. Back to Shaw, who pushes it on to Dalot. Good reverse ball towards Shaw, the underlapping centre half, and across comes Magassa with a firm but fair challenge to poke it out of play for a Manchester United throw.
I mean, I actually didn't think that was a good ball, Joe. I'm not really sure what Dalot wants Luke Shaw to do there. He just completely hit it down the channel, and it's like, I think Luke Shaw did quite well.
Well, we know that Diogo Dalot has played a plenty at left wing-back, although he is a right-footer. Wing-backs have not contributed a great deal in terms of goals and assists for Manchester United this season. Dalot shaping up for a long throw into the area, header away by Mavropanos, comes back to Diogo Dalot, right-footed curling cross, up towards Xerxes, header away initially by Souček, then Bruno Fernandes on the half-volley, well blocked, hit to Debo and cleared away. He really does look in the mood from the edge of the penalty area tonight, Bruno Fernandes. Still 0-0. Manchester United from left to right. Ahmad on the ball again, dribbles beyond Diouf. Gets the dead ball line and he'll play it back 10 yards. Bruno Fernandes to hook in a high cross. Xerxes trying to meet it on the volley, beaten in the air by Wan-Bissaka, who I must say is having an excellent game against his old team.
He is, and I liked him when he was at Manchester United. You know, he was never the greatest technically, but he's a very good 1v1 defender. And I look at someone like Dalot, and I think if I had a choice of Wan-Bissaka or Dalot, I don't think there's much in it, to be honest. I think Ruben loves Dalot, and I definitely think that's a position Manchester United could strengthen him for sure. I think Dalot's quite fortunate that he starts for Man United, to be honest.
Well, Amorim says he's a very important player for the team. Here is Cunha, inside left, he's escaped. Wan-Bissaka, who lunges in and gets to the ball. From our angle, it looks like he's got to the ball there ahead of Cunha. Manchester United fans appeal for a penalty, but I think Wan-Bissaka timed that to perfection.
Brilliant tackle for Wan-Bissaka. We've been very complimentary of him in this game. I thought it was a clean tackle.
Now here come West Ham at the other end with 10.5 minutes of the first half to go, and Jared Bowen has wriggled away inside the area. Brilliant run, and he tried to poke it goalwards, and it took a deflection. Little power behind it, gathered by Laments.
So easy. I mean, it's a lovely run from Jared Bowen, but Casemiro's dangling a leg. Bruno Fernandes dangles a leg. It's far too easy. West Ham, when Manchester United are coming at West Ham, they're putting their bodies on the line. They're putting everything on the line. It's too easy. West Ham are getting through.
Well, now it's the referee has inadvertently got in the way there of Dalot's pass. A mistake from Andy Kitchen, who I must say again has refereed this very well so far. 5th game in the Premier League for him. Manchester United get the ball back midway inside the West Ham half, and Burmo back to goal, trying to tee up Bruno Fernandes, who in lunging in to try and reach the ball actually caught Magassa, sent him to ground. And so West Ham, who have defended in numbers and defended with a resolve and character, have themselves a free kick, Leanne Sanderson.
It was interesting because Bruno Fernandes and Ruben Amorim were in deep conversation, and he keeps saying to him one, and he's trying to point at like centrally in the midfield, because I think Manchester United are getting overrun in the midfield area. I think they've got a lot of pace, as we know, with Cunha and Mbuemo. They're good on the ball, but I just think right now Casemiro's not been at it in this game. I know a lot of Manchester United fans have been calling for Kobbie Mainoo for a long time, and I just can't get my head around the fact that he just doesn't see any minutes for Man United. And when he does, he came on at the weekend in the 92nd minute, Joe.
Not started a Premier League game this season, Mainoo. Xerxes trying to race away down the left, but he's carried the ball out of play in front of the Manchester United fans. And that's a West Ham throw at the base of the Sir Alex Ferguson stand. It is 0-0 here tonight at Old Trafford. 36 minutes have been played. Our next live football on the network is tomorrow night from the Championship, and it's certainly two promotion contenders early in the season. Hull against Middlesbrough go head-to-head in the northeast. That's on TalkSport 2 tomorrow night. And again, the best way to be across all of our live football is to just download our free app, and then you can swipe between all of our live games as and when you need to. Ahmad in the wing-back position for Manchester United, halfway line, gets a return pass from Bruno Fernandes, tripped by Juve, cynical, it'll be a yellow card, right in front of the dugout. Well, he walked away there, Juve, with the knowledge of a man who knew he was about to be booked.
Yeah, booking all day long, and like I said many times, Ahmad is Manchester United's biggest threat down this right-hand side. They have to isolate him 1v1 even more. They just did their Juve-like bites. It's a definite yellow card, definite foul. And I think Manchester United need to capitalise on the fact now Juve's on a yellow card.
Mazraoui inside right for Manchester United, who've created the better chances. Bruno Fernandes forward to Ahmad, 10 yards from the corner flag. Back to Bruno Fernandes. The captain looks up and whips in a lovely left-footed reverse ball, headed away by Wan-Bissaka, throwing himself at it at the far post, and more tremendous defending from the West Ham right-back.
He's been fantastic in this game, Joe, Wan-Bissaka. Like I said, I've always liked him 1v1, but I think he's definitely got that bit of extra spice playing against his former side.
Xerxes, little back heel into the box, only half away, and Burma into the D, back to Bruno Fernandes, wide to Ahmad, right corner of the area, Mazraoui on the overlap, drills it into the near post. It's a poor effort, really. It was certainly meant as a cross, but ended up just stinging the palms of Areola, who was able to palm it away. It's come back, though, to Bruno Fernandes to whip in another cross. That's hit the heel of Todibo, looped up in the air, only half away by Juve. Then Souček beats Dalot in the air. A scrappy, messy passage of play, but Manchester United are back on the attack. Cunha to the dead ball line, loops up a high delivery, and that's well blocked again by a sliding Wan-Bissaka. Manchester United have a corner, and they're getting closer and closer to taking the lead, you feel.
Yeah, you can see them stepping it up a little bit. Bruno Fernandes getting more involved in the game. It was a brilliant overlap from Mazraoui with Ahmad down this right-hand side. In the end, Mazraoui's ball wasn't good enough, went straight into Areola's hands. But you can see Man United, the fans are getting on their feet a little bit more. The atmosphere is definitely building.
This corner is at the east end of the stadium, the old scoreboard end. Corner to be taken by Bruno Fernandes. One arm up into the air, right-footed in-swinging delivery. Casemiro went for it but couldn't make contact. Mateus Fernandes will break for West Ham. He's a long way from even the halfway line here, and he's not helped out by Callum Wilson. Looked like handball against Magassa, and a free kick to Manchester United right in the middle of West Ham territory here. But this is a good spell for Ruben Amorim's team, and there's quite a good tempo to the Manchester United attack.
Yeah, definitely. You can see Ahmad coming into the game more, and Buemo Cunha's getting on the ball as well. This is a good position for Bruno Fernandes from this left-hand side to just swing it. These ones are difficult though, Joe, because at times, they get overhit. Usually go to the keeper. They might try something intricate and go short, because it's a weird angle, isn't it?
Well, I'm sure they practiced it, because we saw them rehearsing set plays even in the warm-up. Manchester United, this is, as Leanne said, a very central angle, just left of centre ever so slightly. West Ham holding a defensive line on the edge of the box. Bruno Fernandes to chip it high towards the back post. Cunha gets up, back across goal, and the overhead kick by Ahmad is going to loop high into the air and over the bar. And I think the referee had given a free kick against Ahmad anyway for a high boot. He caught Jared Bowen, and it's a West Ham free kick, but there was a degree of inventiveness about that, even from a difficult angle.
To be fair, it was a lovely little floated ball, and I actually thought Cunha could have controlled it on his chest. By the time it fell to him, it was difficult because he didn't have much pace on the ball to get it back across goal. But I'm surprised he didn't control it, because he was on the right-hand side, he had a free shot on goal. And he has the quality to do that, Joe.
5 minutes of the first half to go. And an entertaining game, if not obviously a goal-laden one. We're still yet to see the first goal tonight. Up go the heads on the halfway line. Freddie Potts wins it for West Ham, and then Casemiro just with a glancing touch into the path of Ahmad up the near side, the right. He nudges it forward with the outside of his boot, and Todibo is across in front of Xerxes to shepherd the ball out of play. But I must say that Xerxes looks in so much more confident form since scoring that goal on Sunday at Crystal Palace.
Yeah, that's all you ask for in your number 9. You know, put yourself about a little bit, make it difficult. I think Todibo is actually having a really good game because he's having to cover a lot of ground and he's getting across.
Diogo Dalot's asked for the towel from the ball boy to wipe down the ball here ahead of a long throw. He's got to run up a little slope here at Old Trafford to get to the edge of the touchline. Long throw high to the near post and it's headed away. That'll go behind off the head of Mavropanos for a corner to Manchester United in front of us here in the South Stand. We are only about 20-30 yards from where Ahmad is going to take this corner. It'll be left-footed and in-swinging. West Ham have brought everybody back to defend it, conceded 10 times from set plays this season, West Ham. 0-0, here it comes from Ahmad, high into the 6-yard box, punched away by Areola, not very far, headed further clear by Juve. It'll drop down to Bruno Fernandes, who on the half volley goes all the way back to Lamens. There he is, the goalkeeper in the centre circle.
Yeah, that was quite strange for Bruno Fernandes because Lamens has fallen over.
But he's kept possession.
Yeah. There was a good ball in from Ahmad, though. I think Manchester United, you can feel it. Like, there's certainly, a bit more tempo about them. I can't believe how quick this first half's gone, Joe, to be honest.
42 minutes have been played already. Manchester United with Bruno Fernandes. West Ham sitting off them at the moment. Mazraoui to the right-hand side. Ahmad in a one-on-one with Bowen. Beyond Bowen, he's taking on the defender Magassa. Magassa stands tall in front of Ahmad to half clear the ball away. It has come back to Mazraoui. Now Bruno Fernandes, right of centre, delivers. Xerxes with the flicked header, and it's wide. Very difficult header from just inside the penalty area. Yeah,
it was a difficult ball in, really. You could see what Xerxes was trying to do. I think one of my concerns, Joe, as well, is the fact that Manchester United are going to lose Mbuemo, Ahmad and Mazraoui for the African Cup of Nations. And that's going to be 3 massive losses to Manchester United, definitely. Like, their top players. Mazraoui's been in and out of the team of late, but he's doing all right tonight. And we talk about Manchester United's lack of recruitment over the years. I do think De Ligt and Mazraoui, that was a bit of a steal bringing them in for 50 mil for those two players, to be honest. I think De Ligt's been one of the best centre-backs in the league this year.
And West Ham will likely miss both of their full-backs who are playing tonight, Wan-Bissaka and Juve at AFCON. We've got less than 2 minutes of the first half to go, plus added time. Manchester United 0, West Ham United 0. You're listening to Talk Sport. Xerxes working the channels for Manchester United. Good dummy into the path of Mbuemo. Little cut back towards Cunha, nudged away by Mavropanos. He poked it clear. It's come back to Manchester United's number 10, Cunha again. Back to Mazraoui. Thinks about a cross, works it wide instead to Mbuemo. Mbuemo's delivery is a decent one, but headed away by Mavropanos before it can reach Joshua Xerxes. Then there's a foul again by Heaven through the back of Wilson. Free kick to West Ham. And what they want to avoid, Manchester United, is a repeat of the Everton game here, where it was cross, Leanne Sanderson, and nothing on the end of it ultimately.
And Manchester United need to stop giving away stupid free kicks. I mean, there's been a couple there. Callum Wilson's done a really good job. He's on his own, a lot up top, and he's holding up the ball, but Heaven just comes straight through the back of him, and it's worked in West Ham's favour. I think Man United have been active, and it was a really good run from Xerxes. Nice little dummy down this right-hand side. Man United haven't gone down the left at all, really. Cunha's not really had much of the ball in this game. I think if they can get him into the game a little bit more, they might get a bit more joy.
Header by Todibo, looping towards the edge of the Manchester United penalty area. Wilson couldn't bring it down on his chest, and now Ahmad has to race away from the challenge of Juve, deep inside his own half. Back to Mazraoui it goes. Mazraoui's given it straight to Magassa, and now Mateus Fernandes cleverly into the path of Souček. Souček has a couple of lunging challenges from Manchester United players. Came in inside the penalty area there, nearly beat Heaven to it. Heaven stretching, slices the ball up into the air and behind. It's a West Ham corner as we go into a minute of added time at the end of the first half.
And it all comes from Bruno Fernandes, his square pass to Ahmad. Ahmad was facing his own goal, and the ball comes to him. He's got no other options. He goes back to Mazraoui. And to be honest, Man United were at 6s and 7s, genuinely. Like, they were dangling a leg. Souček probably could have gone down at the moment in time.
Well, West Ham threatening at the end of the first half here. And Potts has placed the ball down. The young midfielder with a great pedigree at West Ham. Right-footed delivery into the edge of the 6-yard box, hit it away by Casemiro, and the referee spotted a foul anyway. And actually the delivery wasn't a particularly good one from Potts, you'd have to say, because it was more into the near post than anything else, and nobody in a West Ham shirt was anywhere near it. That's the cue for some of the Manchester United fans now to head to the concourses ahead of half-time, which must be only seconds away. The referee's had a look at his watch. Luke Shaw along for Manchester United, straight to Mavropanos, and 0-0 it is at half-time. Not for the want of trying from Manchester United in particular. There's a high five at the end of the first half between Todibo and goalkeeper Areola for West Ham. Areola, who made one terrific save to tip over Brian Mbeumo's looping cross shot, and then there was a passage of play over a space of just a few seconds when Joshua Zirkzee had an effort cleared off the line by Wan-Bissaka. The loose ball eventually dropped to Bruno Fernandes, hit a scissor kick volley a la Paolo Di Canio, but he hit the outside of the post. At the other end, Lamens has not had a serious save to make, but Mateus Fernandes did have one good chance early on for West Ham. Casemiro slid in to make an important block. Half-time at Old Trafford, entertaining in parts, but no goals. Manchester United 0, West Ham United 0.
Joe, thank you very much. Let's just get a few thoughts from Leanne Sanderson then as we head into this half-time. It's a case of so near yet so far for Manchester United, who came good towards the end of that first half.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way that Manchester United ended that half was good. On the front foot, Ahmad's been good, Wermo's been good. But I think, you know, you look at the back line, they've been all over the place. The back three, I keep mentioning it, they've not played together, and it looks like it. You know, they're giving away stupid fouls. Heaven as well. I have a feeling that Heaven potentially might come off at half-time because he's on that booking. I think Callum Wilson has had a fantastic game. Wan-Bissaka has been player of the match in this game, and you know, I've always liked him 1v1. He's putting some unbelievable tackles, and to be fair to West Ham, they've been the better team and they've defended well. I think Xerxes putting himself about, but I think some substitutions in this game, like Mason Mount coming into the game, could cause a lot of problems. But other than that, you know, Man United's strength in depth isn't the greatest.
Well, I was going to you mentioned it already about Aaron Wan-Bissaka and how well he's done, but just in general, for a team that has the third worst defence in the league, Nuno Espirito Santo is certainly going to be happy with how they've dealt with United's attack.
Yeah, I think Freddie Potts has been excellent. I think he's putting a couple of really good tackles on Bruno Fernandes, letting him know he's there, frustrated Bruno a little bit. I mean, that effort from Bruno Fernandes from the edge of the box would have been an unbelievable goal. It went, hit the post. But yeah, I think Man United, you know, they have to find a way to break through. I think West Ham are defending really, really well, but they're also sitting in a block, you know. They're almost in a 4-5-1 defensively, and it's difficult. But Callum Wilson, like I said, is doing well. Man United need to find a way because it has been quite flat. I think the first 20 minutes or so were quite flat.
Well, look, we will continue to discuss this game after the break. You're tuning into Kickoff live on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now, you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Manchester United against West Ham live tonight. All you have to do is search Now Sports. So coming up, we'll look ahead to a huge event on TalkSport tomorrow and bring you the second half of Manchester United against West Ham.
Kickoff on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. 18+gambleaware.org.
It's another day at Screwfix, and Mo Farah is learning the ropes.
So, Mo, with Click and Collect, we get orders ready fast. So customers are out of here and back to their jobs in as little as 1 minute. What are you doing?
Cheap lunches. It's my warm-up. I need to be in peak condition for when orders come in.
Love that intensity, Mo. Laser focused. You might even have what it takes to beat my PB one day.
Back in the Mo.
Click and collect in as little as 1 minute. Screwfix. No stopping you.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a tree, playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football.
But come on, this is...
just a boy. Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am. But right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this
Manchester United, they finished, I think, on top, but they'll be kicking themselves that perhaps they haven't taken the opportunities that they've created. So what's the difference? How can they now take those chances?
Yeah, I think to be fair to West Ham, you've got to give them credit defensively. But I've mentioned Manchester United's, back line has been all over the place. And it's not because they're in a three, it's the personnel that's in there. And I said, you can even talk about what we're going to see. I said that I think that would be the situation that needed to happen. It needed to happen. He sent Lenny Yoro out to warm up after 15 minutes. I mean, surely Ruben must have seen in training that the back three that were playing were nowhere near it. So I think Man United need to continue in the way they did in the end of the first half. Keep pushing. And Buemo getting on the ball, Ahmad as well.
Right, the teams are out then. Don't forget you can have your say on the sports bar later on. Why not get your calls in now from 10 03717 223344. That's when the show is on. But you're tuning in to kick off live on Talksport with Ladbrokes, 18 and over, gambleaware.org. Let's hand you back to Leanne Sanderson and Joe Shannon.
That it is Yoro for Heaven, that half-time change at Manchester United. Heaven, who was on a yellow card from the very early stages, and Lenny Yoro, who has been described by Ruben Amorim as growing even in the face of setbacks. Conceded that penalty at Crystal Palace over the weekend, is onto the field. And so the second half begins, but Xerxes was standing inside the West Ham half. I'm not sure why that was the case. So we've had a false start and we'll go again with Mbeumo playing it back to Lamens, and now we get off and underway. Manchester United 0, West Ham United 0. And Manchester United from right to left in the second half towards the Stretford end in their red shirts, white shorts and black socks, and West Ham in the cream shirts and socks with dark blue shorts, playing from left to right in the first half. So Manchester United, Lamens in goal, Mazraoui, Yoro now into the team, and Shaw, Ahmad, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro and Dalot, who was on the ball just a moment ago. And Mbeumo, Cunha and Xerxes up front. Luke Shaw slips as he finds Bruno Fernandes, and then over the top from Casemiro, header away by Wan-Bissaka, who is the West Ham right back in front of goalkeeper Areola. Wan-Bissaka makes another good interception, stretching on the near side, the West Ham right, but now he's got the ball floating over his shoulder, has to be covered, helped out by Magassa, who does well, shepherds it behind for a goal kick. It's Areola in goal for West Ham. Wan-Bissaka, Mavropanos, Todibo and Juve, Magassa, Souček and Potts, with Bowen and Mateus Fernandes either side of Callum Wilson up front. And on this relatively mild for December night, I would suggest, at Old Trafford, it is Manchester United 0, West Ham United 0, and here's Leanne Sanderson.
Yeah, I think Ruben, that substitution shows me that Ruben got his team selection wrong. And they're both two young players. Lenny Yoro hasn't been great the last couple of games, but I think he deserves to be, played through. You can see the potential that he has. The penalty against Crystal Palace was a stonewall penalty. It was a poor decision from him. But I think, taking Heaven off at half-time, it probably won't work well for his confidence. And for someone like Lenny Yoro getting dropped, I think that substitution had to happen. Because like I said, many times in the first half, the back line have been all over the place.
Ahmad dribbling down the right-hand side, tries to nudge it infield to the on-rushing Mbeumo, but it's behind him. And West Ham United will clear upfield, and indeed they win a throw through Juve. 03717 223344 to have your say on the sports bar once we're done here tonight. Jamie O'Hara and Dean Saunders taking your calls, and then Alan Brazil and Ray Parlour tomorrow morning from 6 o'clock on Talksport Breakfast. If you fancy something different on your morning commute, you can listen to Chris Evans over on Virgin Radio. Best way to be across all of our stations is to download our free app. Here is Magassa for West Ham, 1-2 with Potts, just 10-15 yards or so into Manchester United territory, and now Mavropanos over the top looking for Bowen, but that's way overhit. Little drift out of play for a goal kick to Manchester United near the away section, the away support, who were very loud in the build-up to the game, the West Ham fans, and that's continued from the 3,000 who've made the trip up from London as the game has continued. Not a game of great quality, it must be said, and still looking for the first goal of the night here on Talksport.
And they've been the better side, Joe, in this game for me. I think they've been excellent. I do think if Man United were to score relatively soon, they should win the game, because I don't think they've caused a lot of problems, West Ham, but Manchester United have made their own problems within themselves by giving away the ball, giving away stupid fouls, stupid free kicks centrally.
Here is Cunha inside left channel with a whip crossfield ball towards the Manchester United right. Juve saw it coming and heads it into touch. United throw. Manchester United throw, that is. Bruno Fernandes will get to the ball and a throw back to Mazraoui. Lots of Manchester United fans still retaking their seats early in the second half. You can hear the noise of the West Ham fans. I'm forever blowing bubbles is the chant. Xerxes through to Mbeumo, and a good sliding challenge by Potts. Goal kicks given by the assistant referee. Potts had to time that well, and he did. The young midfield player tracked Mbeumo, and did so well, in fact, that, as I say, there was the touch and the slide tackle, hit, and Mbeumo goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, Freddie Potts has been excellent in this game from minute one when he got Bruno Fernandes, caught him on the edge of the box. He let him know he was there. It was a fantastic little play from Xerxes as well. Nice little ball on the outside of the foot to Mbeumo. Lovely tackle from Potts.
Well, I mentioned the loan spell that he had at Wickham a couple of seasons ago. There was a loan spell at Portsmouth that followed, and having impressed in pre-season, he came into the team and is clearly a key part of Nuno Espirito Santo's plans going forward. Here is Mbeumo on the halfway line. Mbeumo goes crossfield, right to left into the path of Shaw in that long-sleeved red shirt. Further wide is Dalot, and Dalot and Xerxes not on the same wavelength at all. It was a little reverse ball from Dalot aimed at Xerxes, but he didn't run for it, and West Ham are able to clear. And Diogo Dalot, certainly a hard worker, but not a great attacking threat. And if you look at Manchester United's wing-backs, Leanne, between all of them, whether it be Dalot, Ahmad, maybe Mazraoui playing in that position, they've only scored one goal in the Premier League this season, Manchester United's wing-backs.
Well, it doesn't surprise me, because those three players that you mentioned there, they're not known for their attacking style, you know, at all, in any way, shape or form. So gone are the days where you're just there to defend as a defender. You know, you've got to offer something on the other side as well, and I just think, you know, they don't. I think Dalot, like I've said many times, is very fortunate to be that player that's almost like a mainstay under Ruben Amorim. And I think another player tonight that I think has left wanting is Casemiro. I think he's had a poor game, and if I'm Kobbie Mainoo, I know I keep saying it, like, you'd be thinking, what more do I need to do to come onto the pitch? Because Casemiro in this game has had no authority in the game. I think Bruno's not really done much either.
Looks leggy, doesn't he, Casemiro? Yoro's first touch of the second half. Back to Lamens. Yoro on as a half-time substitute for Heaven. Good flick by Xerxes. On to Mbeumo away on the left-hand side. Mbeumo taking on Jean-Claire Todibo, who comes across. Mbeumo's square ball in field. Nudged away by Magassa. Sungutu Magassa, who is caught, goes down and wins a free kick. And actually, you have to play compliment, I would suggest, to Magassa too, the former Monaco man who's made a number of crucial interceptions across the first 51.5 minutes, and it is still 0-0.
To be honest, to West Ham, they're playing to their strengths, aren't they? Like you say about Magassa, like, they're putting themselves about. Potts has been good centrally in the midfield. Bowen's been putting himself around, and Souček as well. And I spoke about the fact that Areola's usually that player that's punting the ball up top. Souček's also getting second to the second ball, which I think is working quite well for West Ham. It's
been a typically compact and well-organised defensive performance from a Nuno Espirito Santo team. Header away by Yoro for Manchester United. It'll drop to Potts, who scoops the ball into the sky. Casemiro there for Manchester United, and now Noussair Mazraoui with a high ball hit early over the halfway line. It's dropped beyond Juve, and Todibo gets across in front of Mbeumo, firm but fair with the challenge. Now Juve, who is on a yellow card, turns away neatly from the on-rushing Bruno Fernandes and hoists a high ball downfield, flicked on by Callum Wilson. Jared Bowen is there, beaten to it by Shaw, fouled by Shaw. Referee had a good view of that running forward, and Andy Kitchen gives West Ham a free kick in a potentially dangerous position here, Leanne Sanderson.
I think it is a foul. I think it definitely is. Bowen gets to the ball first. Luke Shaw's frustrated, but this is the problem with this back three that they have, where they're getting dragged out of position. You know, Lenny Yoro goes to the first ball, Callum Wilson gets to it first, and then Luke Shaw has to come flying from the right-hand side all the way across to try and recover, and it is a foul all day long.
Well, a lack of timing in the challenge from Luke Shaw, which you don't often see, certainly this season, in a Manchester United shirt. And Manchester United bring in everybody in red back to defend this free kick. West Ham from left to right in the second half. We're right in line with this free kick, which is midway into the Manchester United half. It'll be drifted in by Freddie Potts, high to the back post. Jumping is Mavropanos. Now to Debo, the other centre-half, right by the dead ball line, being forced away from goal. Back to Mateus Fernandes with a first-time cross and a diving header away by Shaw at the heart of the penalty area for Manchester United. Now for West Ham, it's Bowen. Bowen, right corner of the penalty area. Scored the first goal under Nuno, but hasn't scored since then, strangely.
Yeah, I mean, he's always a player usually you could rely on, but I think there will come a time where Bowen's goals have dried up, but he still offers quite a bit. I like his quality that he has.
Well, there's ball by Xerxes, across to Ahmad over on the far side, the right, and suddenly they had men over there, Manchester United, for a moment. Ahmad looks for Casemiro, who tries to spin and turn midway into the West Ham half. Fouled by Magassa, free kick. You do wonder, though, whether Manchester United might have made more of that, because there was lots of space for Ahmad to really race into, but he didn't do it with any great conviction.
No, and I think Casemiro showed his expertise and his experience there, because his first touch wasn't great, and I think he made the most of the foul, to be honest. And again, it's in that central position that we spoke about in the first half. Manchester United, got in almost with Cunha on the back post in the first half. Have to wait and see what type of intricacy they have here, because it's too far out for Bruno to strike it.
Yes, it's 35, 40 yards out, right of centre, but plenty forward for Manchester United with their set-piece proficiency this season. 0-0 with Manchester United attacking the Stretford end in the second half, live on Talk Sport. Bruno Fernandes, right-footed to float in the cross, headed away by Mavropanos, and jumping is Shaw, chesting it down near the corner flag on the near side. Shaw's left-footed delivery hits Wan-Bissaka, and is that a corner for Manchester United? I think it is. Bruno Fernandes is going to go across it. Went behind for a corner rather than a throw, and the red shirts will stay forward here, Leanne.
Again, brilliant play from Wan-Bissaka. It looked like he was almost getting cramp, and fair play to him. He's been excellent in this game. He's been everywhere.
Sports Bar once we're done here tonight on Talk Sport. Corner taken short. Bruno Fernandes to Ahmad, pulls it back, and Bono! And it's blocked, and then Shaw over the top. Well, I wondered, did Mbermo Zephyr actually hit his own player Xerxes, and maybe that's why the flag has gone up on the far side of the field. No, it didn't, but Shaw couldn't tuck away the rebound. Certainly the officials spotted something, and it's still 0-0.
I like the creativity for Manchester United set pieces. There was a good little play from Ahmad. By the time the ball fell through, it actually hit Suchek. Lenny Euro was kind of on that back post as well. But Manchester United need to keep knocking on the door. I think they just need a little bit. I think Ruben Amorim needs to make some substitutions at some point soon. Coaches usually wait until around the 60th minute to make those subs, but I just think a little bit of injection of pace is needed. Cunha's not really been in this game. Casemiro looks leggy.
Well, Mason Mount scored the winner at Crystal Palace from the start on Sunday, on the bench tonight, as Wan-Bissaka slices a clearance up into the air. It's hooked over his shoulder by Souček. The Manchester United substitutes I'll give you in a moment, but here come West Ham on the counter. Bowen through the middle to Callum Wilson. He's got a runner to the right. It's Magassa. Magassa with an early shot into the side netting. Right corner of the penalty area. Some of the West Ham fans in the away section thought that he'd somehow found a gap and beaten Lamens, but it was always against him, though he did strike it well, certainly.
Really good play from West Ham. Magassa looked like he hit it pretty early because he knew that Manchester United were recovering, but again, Callum Wilson does really well. Initially holds up the play, but I still think it's far too easy. Manchester United get dragged out of position so easily in the back line, and they're just getting overrun in the midfield. It was good play from West Ham.
So you're saying this is a system problem, is it, again?
No, I think it's personnel. I just don't think the quality is there. I mean, do the players look comfortable playing in 3? Not particularly, but when De Ligt's there, I think De Ligt's been a big loss in this game tonight. There's not really much leadership in there. Luke Shaw plays that position to the best of his ability, but again, they're getting overrun because there isn't much pace, is there?
Well, De Ligt back on Monday night, says Ruben Amorim, for the trip to Wolves, live and exclusive on Talk Sport in the Monday Night Football. Diogo Dalot away on the left-hand side for Manchester United as we head towards the hour mark, and we await the game's first goal. Casemiro 25 yards out, knocks it wide to Ahmad, right corner of the penalty area, all left foot, back to Casemiro with a shot, big deflection, Dalot turns it into the Stretford end, and Manchester United lead. It drops so invitingly for Diogo Dalot, his first Premier League goal at Old Trafford, and he rolled it neatly beyond Areola, and almost out of nothing, Manchester United have the lead, and they're heading up to 5th. Manchester United 1, West Ham United 0.
Fair play to Diogo Dalot. I'm not his biggest fan, but it was a lovely first touch. Very uncharacteristic finish from him, not a player usually you find in and around the 6-yard box, but I think that's exactly what Manchester United need. It was a lovely first touch, very composed finish to put it in the back of the net, and it was a kind of interesting one from Casemiro, because by the time the ball fell to him from Ahmad, it was like Casemiro got to the ball and it was kind of like took a deflection, and to be fair to Dalot, he killed it on a sixpence and puts it in the back of the net, and I think that's a type, I feel for West Ham, but I think that's a little bit of luck that Manchester United needed. And Wan-Bissaka was there again trying to slide but couldn't keep it out. Well done, Dalot.
Well, who'd have thought that Diogo Dalot would sneak in unmarked, and the Manchester United fans roaring their approval all around the stadium here, and they lead West Ham by 1-0 on TalkSport. A poacher's goal for Diogo Dalot, and as I say, his first Premier League goal here at Old Trafford, so a landmark moment for the Portuguese, and very important player, Ruben Amorim said that he is.
Yeah, I know, and you read out before, Joe, about the lack of goals from that wide area, didn't you?
Yep. They've got another now. Cunha through the middle towards them. Burma, cross comes to Debo, and West Ham have got to be careful that they don't go further behind in the game. Otherwise, it really will be Manchester United's night. But it's Manchester United who are chasing down Chelsea. They'll go level on points with Chelsea tonight if they win. And now they've got a long throw, and Dalot looking to turn provider away on this near side in the left wing position. Plenty forward, including Yoro and Xerxes and Casemiro, who's good in the air. Cunha's up there too, in by Dalot. The flick at the near post by Yoro, only half dealt with by West Ham United. Yoro going up again, he's let it run. Back to Bruno Fernandes, left corner of the box. Oh, took a deflection, the cross off Magassa and gathered by Areola.
Yeah, decent play from Manchester United. Lenny Yoro did really well to keep it alive. Falls to Bruno Fernandes just on the left-hand side of the 18-yard box. It wasn't the greatest of balls in from Bruno.
Tadibo's gone down here. He looked like he might have a problem. Was it an injury, or was he just tying his laces? West Ham counter anyway. Now they're seeking an equaliser, West Ham. And you wonder whether Nuno Espirito Santo will think about a change shortly. Not that he's got too much in the way of options. We've got the goalkeeper Hermansen, Walker-Peters, Kilman, Rodriguez, Irving, Urfi, Marshall, Conte and Myers on the bench tonight, West Ham United. And for Manchester United, the subs are Altai, Martinez, Mount, Malacia, Dorgu, Ugarte, Mainu and Lacey. Kobbie Mainu, who has not started a Premier League game this season. Casemiro rolls the ball up the inside right to Debo. Head start in front of Mbeumo. And Tadibo will clear away, out of play for a throw, and suddenly Manchester United have got their tails up here, 1-0 to the good, and just like on Sunday against Crystal Palace, buoyed by the confidence of a goal, Leanne Sanderson.
Yeah, it's amazing what can happen, because I think West Ham have been pretty solid. We were talking of Tadibo before. I thought that's the only foot he's put wrong in this game. I think he's been excellent, because West Ham have been defending a lot. You know, they've had a lot of the ball, and they've made the most of it. Callum Wilson done his best up top on his own, but you could just feel, you know, I said it was a theatre of dreams. It wasn't feeling like that in the first half, but the atmosphere's kind of building, isn't it, a lot since that goal.
In it comes from Dalot, long throw, header away by Juve, drops down to Mazraoui, nudges it back into the area, only as far as Magassa. Magassa scoops the ball over halfway, and Bowen is not going to reach it. Easily beaten to it in the end by Luke Shaw. Bowen, I think, misjudged the flight of the ball there, ran away from it rather than towards it. Now it's on the halfway line with Casemiro, who has won a throw, has he? Yes, off Mavropanos. And there's an energy and a zip about Manchester United now. You wonder how exactly they are able to really pick up when they do take the lead in matches. You wonder why it takes them so long to get into the game, Leanne.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Luke Shaw in the second half as well has been good, but I think you look at this Manchester United side, we talk about the lack of consistency. We've only got to go back to the Everton game to look at that. It's not been the prettiest performances for Manchester United, but if they get away with this, you know, get out of here with 3 points, that's all that really matters. You know, right now, I think West Ham, they could still cause some problems, because they have caused a few. Callum Wilson dropping in, Magassa's getting a little bit higher now in this second half. But I do think Man United need to not take their foot off the gas. Bruno Fernandes needs to offer a little bit more as well in this game.
Well held up by Xerxes, just inside West Ham territory. An hour gone, just over an hour in fact. and Manchester United are 1-0 up. The Sports Bar follows us from 10. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy tonight. 03717 22334. TalkSport breakfast tomorrow from 6 with Adam Brazil and Ray Parlour, and that's building up to the World Cup draw, our build up to which starts really in full from 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon on TalkSport. Adrian Durham, your host, as we find out who England and Scotland have got at the World Cup next summer. Every game of the World Cup will be live on the network. West Ham have a throw here. Manchester United 1, West Ham United 0 on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Man United against West Ham live right now. Search Now Sports. Little flick by Souček up the right. It's come off Bowen last, and Manchester United have a throw.
I still would like Manchester United to make some substitutions though, Joe. I think Mason Mount could come into this game. It was good to see at the weekend, not only did Josh Zirkzee score, but he got 90 minutes, and he hasn't really played many 90-minute games for Manchester United. I think he's put himself about. Has he caused any problems to Mavropanos? Not particularly, but that's all you can ask for. Holding up the ball when it comes to you, let it stick like glue, and I think he's done a relatively good job at that.
Dalot with an awkward skywards pass brought down by Juve, who will flight it towards Souček, then a backheader by Bruno Fernandes. Goalkeeper Lamens would have come to get it on the edge of the box, I think, but Mazraoui did the job for him. Quick ball up to Mbeumo, nudged away by Todibo, with Juve out of position there. Todibo did very well, and it's a throw to Manchester United in front of the Sir Alex Ferguson stand, mentioned in the first half, that really cavernous stand. In fact, it's so high the upper tier that we can't see it from our commentary position, but there are even more rows of seats right at the very top.
I'll tell you what you can see, Joe. At half-time I saw the fans were getting their phones out because Sir Alex Ferguson was walking past them. It's like Dennis Irwin as well, David Gill's down there. And it's just, whenever you see, you know, when you just think about a club, it's just Sir Alex Ferguson all day long, isn't it, when you think about a football club?
Brian Robson we saw on the touchline before the game as well. Bruno Fernandes for Manchester United, square to Cunha, 30 yards out. Bruno Fernandes angles it wide. The man over is Mbeumo with a left-footed curling shot, blocked by Juve. It'll drift across into the path of Bruno Fernandes, who gives it away rather sloppily. Straight to the feet of Mateus Fernandes of West Ham United, whose next game is away at Brighton on Sunday. Our next live Premier League football for you is on Saturday lunchtime. The leaders Arsenal away at Aston Villa. That'll be a real cracker of a game, that, at Villa Park, live on TalkSport. And the Monday night football will be Wolves against Manchester United, live with us from Molineux. Souček for West Ham, back to goal, the tall, rangy midfield player. They've missed Paquetá tonight, West Ham, and we knew that would be the case.
They have. I think Somerville as well. I think he was a good signing. I don't think we've seen the best of Somerville at West Ham either.
Juve with an early cross towards Bowen, little flick at the near post. He couldn't quite turn it backwards to a teammate, but he has held it up, Bowen. Back to Juve by the right corner flag as we look at it. He'll tease the ball all the way backwards, 20-30 yards to Potts, and now Mavropanos. You can hear the West Ham fans in the background away to our right. Mavropanos sets up Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka thought about a first-time cross, holds it up, back to Magassa to loop it into the box, hopeful rather than expectant, and it's gathered easily by Senna Lamens. We've reached the midway point of the second half, and West Ham struggling in their bid to find an equaliser here.
To be fair though, that was good play from them. Magassa wasn't the greatest of balls in, but you can see West Ham are still pushing. Bowen's getting higher, Souček's getting higher, and you can see they've not given up, you know, just because they've gone 1-0 down. I think it's been a relatively decent performance from West Ham. All that really matters is getting the 3 points, especially the fact that Leeds beat Chelsea last night.
Well, the unlikely goal scorer and potential match winner Diogo Dalot is going off here, and Patrick Dorgu, the Dane who scored against Scotland in that thriller of a game at Hampden that got Scotland to the World Cup, is coming on. Dalot, well, he might be the unlikely match winner tonight. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to him. It was a fantastic finish. I mean, I'm not sure that was the substitution that I would have made from Ruben Amorim. I think Manchester United's midfielder, I love Bruno Fernandes. I love the fact that he stayed at the club, but it's not been his best game. He looks leggy, Casemiro looks leggy, and it is still only 1-0.
Magassa stretching in front of Joshua Zirkzee to chip it high up the right-hand channel, but not cute enough with the pass towards Souček, and Dorgu's first action, having come on, will be to take a throw. In fact, he'll leave it for Luke Shaw. You can get your calls into the sports bar nice and early. 03717 223344. Manchester United fans, West Ham fans, you'll want to have your say on Talk Sport. You can do so once we're done here. We will be straight across to Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy back in London to take your calls. And we will try and bring you post-match reaction from Ruben Amorim and Nuno Espirito Santo as well. It's not over yet. It's a slender lead for Manchester United at 1-0.
It's not, and Manchester United are really lacking someone in that number 9 spot because Xerxes done a decent job.
Diouf is away on the left-hand side with a first-time cross high to the back post. Oh, and it nearly ran for Souček. Well met by Dorgu. Dorgu with a really important touch there. And Xerxes done very well to hold it up on the edge of his own penalty area and knock the ball out to the left. Sliding in is Wan-Bissaka, and in the end Manchester United defend it well. They get a throw.
Yeah, and Xerxes done his defensive responsibilities really well, but I think you need a number 9 that's going to stretch the point of attack, that's going to stay high. I think there's times when Man United are trying to look long and there's just no one there. You don't want Mbeumo being that player and sitting in the number 9 spot, going up against Todibo and Mavropanos. That's not his strengths.
Well, Benjamin Šeško stood out until the end of December, and the jury out, I think it's fair to say, Leanne.
Definitely. I mean, obviously there was a lot of talk about Gyökeres coming to Manchester United and he's gone to Arsenal, and I think similarly, both those players, they still haven't really got going yet, have they?
Nope.
I still think Man United need to strengthen in the transfer window. I really do.
Here comes Potts for West Ham. He smuggled it wide to Bowen. Right-hand edge of the penalty area. Bowen on his weaker side. Deflection on the cross. Drops to Potts on the volley from a very tight angle. Blocked by Casemiro. West Ham United have a corner with 20 minutes to go.
Well done by Potts again down this right-hand side. Casemiro was a fantastic tackle because Potts probably thought his eyes lit up because he took a really good first touch. He got his shot off pretty quickly and Casemiro just came across.
Well, West Ham have a corner. They're 1-0 down. Plenty have come forward, including Mavropanos. Souček is up there. Magassa too. Bowen will take the corner. Everybody back in the red shirts of Manchester United. Bowen's in swinging delivery. Really poor. Headed away by Bruno Fernandes. It was such a low flight, that delivery, that he could almost have chested it away, Bruno Fernandes.
All of their corners tonight, Joe, West Ham, have been really underwhelming, really poor, like just almost mishit.
Mateus Fernandes through the legs of Casemiro to Magassa. Magassa, great weight on the pass for Bowen. Good challenge by Yoro coming across. Flag up on the near side, wouldn't have counted even if Bowen had found himself in a shooting position anyway.
It was a lovely weighted pass from Magassa. You could see what he was trying to do. He waited just a split second too long and Bowen went offside. I think Bowen wanted the first one, but I like the way Magassa tried to play between the full-back and the centre-back.
Oh, what a midweek of football in the Premier League, and it may not be a 5-4 or a 4-3, but it is a 1-0 to Manchester United that, with 18.5 minutes plus added time to go, is still very much in jeopardy. It's still in the balance here, this game.
It is, and I think West Ham seem to have stepped it up a little bit in the last 5-10 minutes or so, really pushing forward.
We will have Manchester United's next game live with us on Monday night away at Wolves, and of course tomorrow the draw for the World Cup. Our World Cup draw programme starts from 4 o'clock with Adrian Durham, Alan Pardew, Stuart Pearce amongst our guests, Charlie Mulgrew and the football expert Andy Brassel, and that is followed by the World Cup draw after party with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent, who are stateside all week. Wan-Bissaka's going to get a throw for West Ham United here. Good noise again from the West Ham fans, who've not had a lot to cheer about this season. They were rather meek in defeat to Liverpool at the weekend. Not the case tonight, but they are trailing 1-0 to Manchester United. Diogo Dalot with the goal. Bruno Fernandes from the edge of the D, flicks it forward now to Brian and Mbeumo is on the edge of the penalty area. Only Todibo between him and the goal, and it's off for Cunha! Deflected over the top, and the referee, after Mbeumo went down inside the box under the challenge of Todibo, has said that it's just a corner.
How is that not a penalty, Joe? We'll have to take another look at this, but as soon as Mbeumo comes in, and if there's contact on him, surely that's a penalty. And if there's no contact, again, it has to be a booking for a dive.
Was there contact to Todibo on Mbeumo? Is Mbeumo looking for it, Leanne?
Yeah, I've seen the replay. It's not a pen. I went from 0 to 100 there, back to 0. I mean, that's poor from Mbeumo, to be honest. Really poor. Good refereeing. Got to give credit where it's due there, because Mbeumo's just completely gone down with no contact. I hate seeing players do that.
Should really be a free kick to West Ham. Ahmad with the corner at the Stretford end and punched away by Areola. He could have caught that, really, the goalkeeper. It's come back to Ahmad to deliver a second time left-footed. Areola diving punch this time. Lots of height and distance on that clearance from the goalkeeper. It's come back to Ahmad at the third time of asking, trying to drift infield from the right, and then he nudges it back out wide to Mbeumo. Right-hand edge of the box again, back to Cunha to scoop in a high cross, and it's headed away at the back post by Wan-Bissaka, who's been tireless in his defensive work. 16 minutes left. Casemiro with a long-range belter of a shot that is miles high into the Stretford end, and Leanne Sanderson shaking her head next to me.
This makes absolutely no sense. What Casemiro is doing here, I have no idea. He's better than that. He's played at the highest level for a long time. He knows the technique of when he's hitting the ball like that, he's just rocketed it, way over.
Well, he is Manchester United's second top scorer this season.
It's not hard, Joe.
After Mbeumo. Mbeumo, who has got 6, and the 3 for Casemiro so far. Here come West Ham. Matheus Fernandes darting up the middle towards the edge of the D. He's poked it into the path of Jared Bowen with the shot, and he's charged down by Mazraoui at the last moment. Very important block from Mazraoui. Bowen nearly had a sight of goal there, and West Ham won it still 1-0, are still in the game. Magassa wins it back off Xerxes. Frustration from the Manchester United fans. It's forward by Diouf. Takes a deflection, that little clip pass. Lenny Yoro will steer it upfield for Manchester United, but the home team have not killed the game off, and West Ham will still believe. I mean, they haven't really tested Lamens at all in the first 75 minutes, but they will believe there's a chance there for them.
Definitely, and I think the game is crying out for Ruben Amorim to make substitutions, and I have no idea why he's taking so long. Getting overrun in the midfield, Manchester United look really leggy. Xerxes, he's had a decent 75 minutes, but he's not holding up the ball anymore.
Good run by Wan-Bissaka to take 2 players in red out of the game. It's come out wide to Matheus Fernandes with a looping cross, well gathered by Lamens. High above his head in the 6-yard box. That should always be the goalkeeper's ball, and he did it well. Mazraoui was covering behind him anyway, and right on cue. There will be changes for both teams in a moment. Andy Irving, I can see, for West Ham United. And is that the young midfielder Conte as well? I think it is, to make his senior West Ham debut. And Manuel Ugarte will come on for Manchester United. As Mbeumo gives it away. Sloppy from Mbeumo. This is the kind of game that last season Manchester United would have dropped points in. This season they lead it, albeit narrowly. Bruno Fernandes carries the ball over halfway. He's poked it into the path of Ahmad. One-on-one with Diouf. Ahmad suddenly races infield to a central area. Deflection on the pass, smuggled away by Todibo before it could run from Mbeumo. Then Wan-Bissaka, surely fouled by Casemiro. West Ham United free kick. Manchester United 1-0 up on Talk Sport. And it's a double change, I think, for both teams here. Leanne Sanderson, Cunha coming off, and Ugarte replacing him. Mount is the other player to take to the field for Manchester United.
I mean, I know I sound like a stuck record, Joe, but I can't get my head around the fact that Ugarte's coming on and Kobbie Mainoo's not. I just cannot get my head around it. I'll support any player that wears a Manchester United shirt, but Ugarte's just never been anywhere near it, ever. Since he's been playing for Manchester United, he gets booked, he's always half a yard off. And, I like the fact that Mason Mount's coming on. I do think it should have happened about 15 minutes ago, because Manchester United needs someone to, stretch the point. I'm sure he'll go in the number 9, although that's not his position. And, West Ham need to continue to push. I think there has been some bright sparks for West Ham in this game. Even though if the game stays the way it is, West Ham fans, they will take a lot of pride from their team's performance here tonight, because they've looked decent. Defensively, they look solid.
There'll be 3 points from safety, though, at the bottom of the Premier League after Leeds beat Chelsea last night. Mount for Xerxes, the other Manchester United change. West Ham wait to make their double substitution. I can see that it is Mohamedou Conte and the Scotsman Andy Irving who will come on. Souček nutmegs Casemiro, but Luke Shaw is sliding in to beat Magassa to the ball. The second Manchester United goal probably kills this game off. Foul by Wan-Bissaka on Mason Mount. That'll be a yellow card for Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, that was a really, really poor tackle. That's all Mason Mount needs coming into the game. With the amount of injuries he's picked up, he done well there, Mason Mount, to get to the ball first. It's a poor tackle for Wan-Bissaka. I think has been probably one of the best players on the pitch tonight. Just mistimes it there, gets it wrong there.
And Manchester United will just slow the play down as they prepare to take this free kick. Nuno Espirito Santo is in conversation with one of his assistants on the near side touchline as Patrick Dorgu races into the box for Manchester United, but he can't bring the ball under control, and he's actually poked it behind for a goal kick. We're right behind the West Ham dugout here, and Nuno with his arms folded. West Ham looking at 2 defeats from 2. There has certainly been an improvement in terms of performances and results since Nuno came to the club, but it again it's a measure of the job that he's taken on that West Ham look like they're going to be in the relegation zone still at the end of this evening. Mason Mount, Manchester United's number 7. Angled ball to the left, and Ugarte slows it down, back to Casemiro, chip over the top, good ball, Bruno Fernandes nudges it back to Dorgu first time, Dorgu's into the area, the angle's tight, good tackle Wan-Bissaka, what a challenge that is, sliding in, inside the penalty area, and then he wins West Ham a throw.
Love that for Wan-Bissaka, and Bruno Fernandes also just laid one on him and they kind of hugged as he got up as well. I mean, he's been excellent, Wan-Bissaka. I know he picked up a booking on Mason Mount there, but his 1v1 defending has never ever been in question, has it? It's just always been how good is he going forward.
Well, this is interesting, Leanne. The 2 West Ham players who looked like they were coming on, Conte and Irving, have now put their training jackets back on and they're going back to sit in the dugout. So they've decided after all of that, West Ham, not to make the double change, at least not now. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's quite strange really, because it looks like the assistant coach has got his hands on his head, kind of looking a bit confused and bewildered. I don't know whether they wanted to do it sooner rather than later. Maybe they changed their mind.
Well, it's interesting. And so West Ham electing not to make the changes. Maybe that tells you something about the lack of options for Nuno Espirito Santo on the bench. 10 minutes to go, his team are 1-0 down. And Manchester United have the ball out on the near side, the left, with Mason Mount back in field to Casemiro. This is Talk Sport, with the sports bar to come, taking your calls once we're done on air here tonight. Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, your sports bar team, from 10. 03717 223344, the number to speak to the boys. Here is Mazraoui, 6 yards shy of the halfway line, forward pass into the West Ham half, and it's held up by Ugarte, and no rush to scramble it forward there, Ugarte, much to the disappointment of the Manchester United fans. Shaw carries the ball down the left, and he finds Dorgu further wide. Shaw with the underlapping run and a good first-time cross, but that'll be volleyed clear by Diouf, and now Irving and Conte are ready to come on again for West Ham. Bowen nearly poked it through to Wilson. Well won back by Casemiro. 1-0 to Manchester United. Dorgu with the dink into the area, and then Bruno Fernandes with an impossible header, really. Edge of the box, and it's straight at Areola.
I'll tell you what, Joe, that was an unbelievable read from Mazraoui, because I think Bowen thought the ball would have got through to Callum Wilson, and Mazraoui read that really well. That ball that just came into Bruno Fernandes, by the time the ball came to him, there wasn't any power on the cross. So it's quite far out for him to get any power on the header.
And Yoro has missed his header at the other end, and now here comes Bowen away down the right-hand side, taking on Mazraoui, and the deflection off Mazraoui takes it behind for a corner to West Ham, who are going to make the double change, are they now? Or will they let the set piece take place first? We'll see. They are going to make the changes. Irving and Conte on for his West Ham debut, and off goes Potts. Irving for Potts, a straight swap, and the young 20-year-old Frenchman, born in Paris, Mahamadou Conte, will come on for Thomas Souček.
I think Freddie Potts has been excellent in this game. You were right, Joe, you were speaking highly of him before the game, and I think he's had a solid 82 minutes.
Yes, on just his 5th Premier League start for West Ham. Corner for West Ham in front of the travelling fans, wedged in the corner between the Sir Bobby Charlton stand and the East stand behind the goal. Irving's first action is to take the corner. How's this for a first involvement? Left-footed corner into the near post, headed off the line, and the rebound is in! West Ham have got themselves an equaliser. It's 1-1 at Old Trafford. Magassa was there to roll it home from just outside the 6-yard box. His first goal in a West Ham United shirt, and what a fight back from the East Londoners. Manchester United 1, West Ham United 1. Joy for Magassa.
Fair play to West Ham. I said I could feel it coming. You know, they were pushing, they were continuing to push. They made the substitution. Suchek hadn't even made his way down to the halfway line yet and ran straight back to the West Ham fans and started celebrating. And to be fair, Joe, I think they deserved that. You know, the way the set piece was played, I was very, you know, the set pieces they've had so far wasn't great. Like Mashrawi was on the back post, made a decent connection to clear it off the line initially from the corner, and then Magassa just hits it. Lemons has got completely blindsided, nowhere near it, and it's a really good finish from Magassa in the end. It was Bowen that looked like he was flicking it on. Mashrawi does everything to clear it, and then Magassa doesn't catch it too truly and puts it in the back of the net, and I think West Ham deserved that. Man United have been quite complacent. You know, I love Ruben Amorim, but I've been very critical of his substitutions in this game. They've come too late, and I think this game had a draw written all over it, to be honest. Man United have not performed to the levels, and I think the substitutions make no sense. Ugarte's come into the game, hasn't done nothing. Mason Mount's put himself about Dorgu. For me, he's nowhere near good enough. And Dalot, who I was very, you know, critical of in the first half, actually thought he had a decent game, and then he got pulled.
1-1 after 84 minutes on TalkSport. Big moment that for Magassa, and he steers it home. Manchester United on the attack. Risky challenge by Wan-Bissaka. He's on a yellow card, got to be careful. Here is Bruno Fernandes, 25 yards out, square to Ugarte, poking it through the middle, intercepted by Magassa. Can West Ham turn it around completely now? Bowen is fouled by Shaw. He's going to be booked for a foul in the centre circle. 1-1, game on. Sports Bar coming next.
Not being funny, but Wan-Bissaka should have also been booked for that tackle. I know he's already on a yellow card, but that's a booking all day long. Definite booking
so
on
Luke
Luke Shaw all day long. Absolutely. Yellow card. Should have been a second yellow, and that was a foul from Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw's had a decent game.
Here is Wan-Bissaka again for West Ham United. Midway inside the Manchester United half against his old club. Conte has held it up nicely. Back to Wan-Bissaka. He scooped it wide for Bowen, down by the dead ball line. Bowen is beyond Luke Shaw. Bowen, the angle is tight. Left-footed across goal and cleared away by Ahmad. Oh, what a chance for West Ham. Only needed a touch, and it would have been in the back of the net. Trickery from Bowen, and Shaw on a yellow card knew that he couldn't make such a risky challenge inside the penalty area. 1-1, 4 minutes of normal time to go. Todibo wins it back off Bruno Fernandes, and West Ham, Leanne Sanderson believe they can win this.
Yeah, I mean, Todibo I think has been excellent in this game.
Great reverse ball down the left to Callum Wilson. He's got two in the middle. One of them is Jared Bowen. It won't reach him. Good sliding challenge by, well, a combination of Yoro and Ugarte. And now Conte's in the area on the volley, and he's hammered it over the top. Goal kick, and Manchester United look all at sea.
Completely all over the place, Manchester United. Fair play to West Ham, because they've really taken it to another level in this second half. But a lot of substitutions. Man United are about to make a defensive sub, as are West Ham. But Manchester United just hasn't been the greatest of performances at all. Bruno Fernandes hasn't had a great game. I mean, I'll forgive him because he's usually really consistent, stands up for Manchester United. There's still a lot of time in this game, you know, Manchester United to get back in it. But Bowen's been excellent, puts a fantastic ball, and he was just waiting for Wilson to put it in the back of the net, and it was Ahmad that clears it.
So Kilman for Wilson is the West Ham change, and the approach for West Ham understandable. They deserve a lot of credit for the way they battled back in this game, and trying to see out what they have perhaps. And now Lisandro Martinez makes his return to Old Trafford after injury, replacing Luke Shaw, who is on a yellow card. So no change in shape for Manchester United. Less than 2 minutes of normal time to go.
But the problem is the Manchester United players in the back line are on yellow cards because they're all over the place, and that's the problem. You know, do you in a game really make defensive substitutions when you're trying to win a game, and two of the back line get pulled? Heaven at half time, and now Martinez has come into the game with 4 minutes to go plus stoppage time, and Manchester United are trying to win the game. Makes no sense.
So 1-1, Ladbrokes have got the latest odds. Man United to win at 7-2, West Ham to win at 10-1, the draw at 3-10. That's all thanks to Ladbrokes. 18+, gambleaware.org. 1-1 the score on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. We've got the sports bar coming next. Manchester United fans, you will want to have your say on TalkSport. It looks like Manchester United are going to drop points at home again. After losing to Everton, level here with West Ham. Struggling West Ham, who might get a crucial point in their fight against relegation, and you'd have to say it would be a point that they deserve.
This is the problem with Manchester United though, Joe. They take steps forward like against Crystal Palace, and then performances like this, similar to the ones against Everton, it doesn't surprise Man United fans. But like you say, fair play to West Ham. I think they've been excellent.
90 seconds of normal time to go. Away on the right is Mazraoui. Is there a late winner in the game for Manchester United, playing towards the Stretford end? They're not attacking at any great pace at the moment. Ugarte, right of centre, suddenly tries to quicken the footwork. It's Lisandro Martinez wide to Dorgu, level with the edge of the penalty area. Dorgu drives in across, blocked by Wan-Bissaka. He looked like he was living in hope there rather than any sort of expectation, Dorgu. Ugarte in field, square to Mazraoui. Mazraoui out to Ahmad, and now Bruno Fernandes from the right, cuts it back in field. It'll reach Ugarte. It was behind Ahmad. Square again. Sideways for Manchester United, in by Bruno Fernandes, header up into the air by Todibo, and then further clear by Mavropanos, nodded back in by Ugarte. Dorgu chests it down. Into the last 30 seconds, it's 1-1. Dorgu with a left-footed cross, a really poor cross. I mean, he's left-footed, and he sliced that over the top of Areola's crossbar.
Yeah, just poor. I mean, you look at this Manchester United team, there has been absolutely no creativity in the front line area. They haven't really created anything centrally, and this is the concern. You know, if Bruno Fernandes is having an off night, which he can have because he's usually carrying Manchester United, then who else steps up? I think Mbeumo's making some decent runs, but you know, this is not his central. He's playing centrally, you know, in a 9. Mbeumo. Mason Mount's actually coming to this left-hand side on the inside pocket, and Manchester United just look all over the place, to be honest. And like I keep saying, well done to West Ham. They've come here, they've shown fight, they've shown grit, they've shown hunger, and they've had quality, and they've made the most of their chances.
Well, it's a Manchester United team who have actually lost more home games in the Premier League than they've won under Ruben Amorim, heading for a frustrating draw. 30 seconds into 5 added minutes. 1 or 2 empty seats starting to spring up around Old Trafford, and the noise you can hear emphatically is from the West Ham fans. Lisandro Martinez pumps the ball into the box, long towards Casemiro, bounces down to Ahmad, right corner of the penalty area. 1-1 is the score. Magassa with the equaliser for West Ham. And now Casemiro with a poor pullback from the right-hand side for Manchester United, thundered away by Todibo. West Ham, understandably, with Kilman on for Wilson, are content to hold what they have. 5-4-1 for the final minutes here for West Ham. Just over 1 minute of the 5 added has been played. Now Lisandro Martinez wearing number 6. Little chip across left to right to Mazraoui, middle of the West Ham half. Mazraoui unchallenged into Casemiro, low ball into the penalty area, comes to Bruno Fernandes, and via the touch of Magassa, it's gone over the top. That was a really crucial swing of the right boot from Magassa onto the shin of Bruno Fernandes, and it sails harmlessly over the top into the Stretford end.
Yeah, quite erratic from Bruno Fernandes in that moment. It wasn't an easy chance. Magassa, I think, just did enough to put him off. Mazraoui does really well down the right-hand side to find Casemiro. Areola's coming out. You know, Areola has that in him, doesn't he? He comes out, overcompensates, and you wouldn't want anyone else there other than Bruno Fernandes, and he just kind of shanks it off the outside of his foot.
You can book your calls now on the sports bar. 03717 223344. It's coming next on TalkSport. 3 added minutes to go. 1-1. West Ham win it back up the pitch through Jared Bowen. Jared Bowen into the penalty area, weaving footwork, the angle's tight, tried to squeeze it square to Conte, still got it here. Bowen somehow juggles the ball up in the air, and eventually Dorgu comes across to send it back to Lemons, who hacks it clear upfield. Big gaps in the stands now. Manchester United fans heading for the exits. Halfway through 5 added at the end of the game. And Dorgu will have to take a throw from way inside his own half. Another performance lacking from Manchester United. Dorgu back to Lisandro Martinez, and now Dorgu again midway inside his own half has given it up to Magassa. One back here by Andy Irving. Irving midway into Manchester United territory, floats it across towards Juve, and Ahmad with the back header, gathered by Lamont. 2 minutes left.
Yeah, it's just far too pedestrian for Manchester United. I mean, that throw-in just epitomises. Dorgu gets the throw and takes about 10 minutes to throw it back in play.
Forward by Lisandro Martinez, chipped high down the inside left, and Burmo, poor game tonight, can't bring it under control. Magassa wins West Ham a throw. West Ham are thoroughly going to deserve this point if they get it. And Magassa's got cramp. 90 seconds left. Remember, you will hear from Ruben Amorim and Nuno Espirito Santo in the sports bar once we're done.
The problem with this is that Manchester United are not playing the individuals to their strengths. And Buemo is playing in the number 9, right? Going up against Mavropanos, Kilman. What is Mbeumo supposed to do there when it's a hit and hope ball? He's tried to control it. Like the tactics tonight, I've always spoken really highly of Ruben Amorim because I think people come after him just because he's quite honest. But tactically tonight, substitution-wise, I think he's got it completely wrong.
Well, if you look at the last 5 games for Manchester United, including tonight, it will be just 1 win in 5. And that was the victory against Crystal Palace at the weekend. Forward by Lamont. We've got 45 seconds to go. Mavropanos with an easy back header for Areola, and Areola will just hold on to the ball here, surely slow the game down. He doesn't really, belts it clear straight away. Mateus Fernandes controls on the halfway line for West Ham, looks wide for Wan-Bissaka, who's now out of position. Lisandro Martinez having won it back. 1-1. Lisandro Martinez with a high floated ball downfield to Diva with a back header. Bruno Fernandes was onto it, but he hits it wide. Left-footed on the volley, not an easy shot from the angle, but that was probably the last chance for Manchester United.
Yeah, lovely play from Martinez down his left-hand side. He's looked bright since he come into this game. And to be fair to Bruno, it wasn't an easy chance, but it was quite erratic in the end. It was a big ask to ask him to come, in and around the penalty spot. He makes that run and then just ends up hitting it. And I think that epitomises Manchester United's performance tonight. It's just been nowhere near good enough individually. I think the team selection from minute 1 was completely wrong.
We've had the 5 minutes of added time. The referee has had a look at his watch. Andrew Kitchen. Old Trafford emptying here. And boos from some as the final whistle blows. A negative reaction from the Manchester United fans. It's a thoroughly deserved point for West Ham United, but for Manchester United, another performance at home that produces more questions than answers. I think it's fair to say, having been beaten here in their last match at Old Trafford by Everton, they are held to a draw by a West Ham team who remain in the relegation zone. Sungutu Magassa with a late equaliser, his first for the club, to earn West Ham a point after the unlikely source of Diogo Dalot had put Manchester United into the lead. But for Ruben Amorim again, after the victory at Crystal Palace at the weekend, it always seems to feel like 1 step forward and 2 steps back. A familiar second half display from Manchester United, lacking in quality overall, and the boos at the end probably tell you all you need to know. A glum exodus from the home fans here at Old Trafford, but the away supporters rightly sounding their approval. Manchester United 1, West Ham United 1.
Joe Shannon, thank you very much. You're tuning in to Manchester United against West Ham here on TalkSport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly. You just have to search for Now Sports. So let's look back on this game, shall we, with Leanne Sanderson, who's part of our team here at Old Trafford. For the positive, for all these West Ham fans that have made the trip up here, this is a great point for them after a great display.
Yeah, brilliant from them, and fair play to West Ham, because as we know, the last train back to London is at 10:15, so most of them are having to drive home, or they're having to stay up here, and they've not stopped singing this entire game, so fair play to them, and I think they deserve it, West Ham. I do. But this is a really poor, tonight they were good, right, but this is a poor West Ham side, Natalie. They've won 3 games all season, and they've come to Old Trafford and at times Man United look like they're away from home. Tactically, I don't want to come after Ruben too much because people do that enough tactically, but I think he got it wrong. I think his team selection.
You said this.
Team selection.
So what was wrong with
the
back
team?
3?
Like Heaven starting, Lenny Yoro, let him play through the poor form he's been in. He's only had a couple of, the last game against Palace, Lenny Yoro weren't great. Play him. He brought Heaven off at half time, brings in Lenny Yoro. Then he takes off Xerxes in like the 80th minute. The game was crying out for a player like Mason Mount to come on sooner. Just a bit of an injection of pace. That's what you're going to get with Mason Mount. He puts himself about. Ahmad weren't really getting on the ball. Bruno had an off night tonight. and Wermo was playing in the 9. Like, the list could go on, really. I just think we looked all over. Manchester United looked all over the place, Natalie. And, you know, like Joe said, it's like Man United take steps forward. The game against Crystal Palace at the weekend was excellent. Controlled the game in a difficult place. And then tonight, it was just as flat as a pancake, to be honest.
Well, for Manchester United then, it's Monday night football for them again as they head to Molineux. Whereas for West Ham on Sunday, they head to Brighton. But for all of the sort of good effort in that first half where Manchester United finally came into the game, then they go ahead in this game through that Diogo Dalot goal. They kind of just let it run away from them, having taken control of it.
Yeah, unacceptable, really. And like I said, West Ham came here. I got to give Todibo and Potts a shout out. I thought they were excellent in this game. Magassa as well, brilliant performances. But Saka, I mean, he had an unbelievable game. I still think he should have got a second yellow late on, taking nothing away from how amazing he was. But like, West Ham could be really proud of that performance. You look at Manchester United coming up against Wolves next Monday. Wolves have been poor this season, no doubt, but like Joe was saying pre-game, like, you don't know what Man United team are going to show up. And unfortunately, this is like a carbon copy of the Everton game, apart from tonight Man United get a point. But it's against a poor West Ham side. And what West Ham did is they put their bodies on the line. They put themselves... Bowen, I thought, was decent in this game as well. One of the best games I've seen him play in a long time. But yeah, Man United were just really poor, Natalie. Like, I'm so disappointed in the performance individually and tactically. It was just all over the place.
We spoke half-time about actually the positives that Nuno Espirito Santo would have taken from that defensive side of things for West Ham. And you've already mentioned with Manchester United and Ruben Amorim not making significant changes at the right time, like a Mason Mount. If you look at the shots on target for United, which was the same as for West Ham, just 2 shots on target, which goes to show there is a problem of creativity in this team at this current moment.
Definitely. And, you know, when Joe said that Mbuemo's Manchester United's top goal scorer was 6 and Casemiro's in second with 3, that just epitomises the lack of goals that Manchester United have. The top teams in the Premier League, what they all have is someone who can put the ball in the back of the net. You know, yeah, Gyökeres hasn't got off to a great blinder at Arsenal, but they offer in different areas. Saka comes through with goals. At Manchester United, Cunha, like, I just don't think we're getting the best out of him. He's a top player. He's good when he's got the ball. Same with Ahmad. In the first half, Ahmad had Juve on toast, and he just didn't get at him in the second half. So, like, I don't understand where it's going. The leadership out there for Manchester United just wasn't there. And unfortunately, Casemiro looked leggy in this game, had a poor game. Bruno had not a great performance, but like I said, these things happen because he's usually really consistent. And if Bruno doesn't show up, it's like no Bruno, no party. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he's not performing, who else is going to step up?
But you're also talking about the midfield there of Manchester United, and someone you flagged up and you did in commentary as well is this absence of Kobbie Mainoo. And this reluctance of Ruben Amorim to play him for Manchester United. Yet, do you think if we saw the peak Kobbie Mainoo of the time that he did get selected for the England team in the Euros, for example, that he could be the difference maker?
Yeah. He's got to get out of here, to be honest, Natalie. As much as it pains me to say it, this is a player that in years to come Manchester United could have got maybe 70, 80 mil for him. I think he is that good. Manchester United fans absolutely love him. And even if you're not a Man United fan, you know what Kobbie Mainoo's about. You know, this is a player that's still only 20 years old, that still has a lot to offer. But I've been there myself. If a manager's not having you, they're not having you. And Ruben Amorim has never had him. So hopefully for Kobbie, he was probably thinking in the back of his mind, I don't know this for a fact, hopefully I'll outlast Ruben Amorim, because it looked like many times Ruben's job was under pressure. You know, everyone was calling for him to go, and Kobbie Mainoo has to go out in January, as much as it pains me to say it, because he's not getting any joy at all. And even the other day when he brought him on in the 92nd minute, to me that's just not acceptable. You know, as a professional footballer, you're going to come on, but like someone like Kobbie Mainoo, like, they're ruining the boy. His confidence is going to be on the floor, and when he does come on, you know, I feel for him. He's been warming up the entire game, and like, you're bringing on Agate, like, come on now. So if I'm Kobbie Mainoo, I'm trying to get out of Manchester United as quick as I can, because, you know, this is a player that played for England at the last tournament, started for England, you know, much to a lot of people think, oh, how is he starting? And now, you know, he can't even get on the pitch for Man United. He hasn't started a game this season. Doesn't make any sense to me.
Just a quick word on West Ham before we get to the man of the match. It's a point that takes them to within 2 of safety, having been in the relegation zone after Leeds' victory over Chelsea yesterday. Have you seen enough from their performance tonight that makes you think they've got enough to get out?
Yeah, potentially, but they're still going to have to strengthen. Like I said, they've got, coming into this game, Natalie, 4 games, 1-2, drawn 1, lost 1. That's not a terrible run of form, is it? But they just don't seem to be getting the results. I think, obviously, London Stadium's become a little bit of a negative place. I understand the fans, how they feel. There's been a lot of protests there. But all the West Ham fans want is them to do exactly what they did tonight. Show a bit of hunger, determination and grit. And I think players like Freddie Potts epitomise what West Ham are about. The old school, like Mark Noble, when he was there, when Declan Rice was there as well. And you've got someone like Freddie Potts now that looks like a player in there, looks like a proper West Ham player. And there were some bright sparks, but they still need to step it up, no doubt.
All right, well, it's time for us to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
It all comes down to you, Leanne. Who are you going for?
Yeah, it had to be Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I thought he was excellent in this game, going up against his former side. Defensively, 1v1, he was incredible. Throwing himself, putting his body on the line. So it has to be Wan-Bissaka for me.
OK, Aaron Wan-Bissaka then is our hero, Here For It hero, man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here For It. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
OK, well, that brings us to a close here at Old Trafford. Thank you very much for Joe and to Leanne as well. Don't forget, we've got more live action for you tomorrow night on TalkSport 2 as Hull hosts Middlesbrough in the Championship, whilst the Premier League returns on Saturday with exclusive commentary from Aston Villa versus Arsenal. That's our game day lunchtime exclusive, kicking off at 12:30. Tomorrow, don't forget, from 4 p.m, TalkSport Drive brings you live coverage of the draw for the 2026 World Cup. But right now, it's time for you to get your calls into the lads on the Sports Bar to have your say on tonight's game. Jamie and Jason are open for business with the Sports Bar. They'll be taking your calls. You can call them on 03 717 223344. It is a farewell then from Old Trafford this evening, where it finished Manchester United 1, West Ham 1.
You never quite know what you're going to get with this Manchester United team. West Ham are in a different predicament altogether, so a fascinating night lies ahead on TalkSport. Casemiro with a shot, big deflection, Dallo turns it in at the Stretford end, and Manchester United lead. For Diogo Dallo, his first Premier League goal at Old Trafford. Left-footed corner into the near post, headed off the line, and the rebound is in. West Ham have got themselves an equaliser. It's 1-1 at Old Trafford. Magassa was there to roll it home, and what a fight back from the East Londoners. Boos from some as the final whistle blows. A negative reaction from the Manchester United fan. Manchester United 1, West Ham United 1.
Kick-off on TalkSport.
Hello guys and welcome everyone to so guys, thanks for all the support today. It has been absolutely brilliant and I hope you all will like and subscribe and post notifications. It does mean a lot to me as you all know. And we have almost got there to 1,000 subscribers, and that will be massive if we can get that target. But today has been absolutely brilliant. So United were going to win the game. They were going to be in fifth place. But West Ham came back with a vengeance and absolutely did what they needed all the way. So it's been a 2-2. It was a 1-1 draw as you know. But tomorrow, please look carefully online and all over, because we will be doing Hull City versus Middlesbrough live on Robotic Maniac. So get yourself strapped in. Whatever you may need. Get yourself strapped in for that. So thank you guys for tuning in at Old Trafford. More frustrations for United. The host fluttering away their lead. A 1-1 draw with a Premier League struggle. West Ham inspiring a chance and lifting and conceding a goal. So there you go. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you all tomorrow at 8 o'clock UK. Actually, technically, I will see you guys at 7:10 for the EFL Championship. EFL Live on Robotic Maniac. Home and away, you will do not want to miss a moment. Right here, live. Welcome to Robotics Maniac. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.